so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah.
Let's go, FT Live. A giveaway coming up a little bit later today for Cincinnati Reds fans. If you want a little more on it, you can check it out right now on FT Twitter. Todd's got it on the IG and on the Twitter as well. This is giveaway week because we're also going to give away.
I'm giving you away, but nobody will take you.
I'll go. Right. Most fan base is not accepting me now.
I heard you. I was trying to give you away to the Angels for Zach Neto, but they said no.
They won't take me or Tim Anderson for a bucket of balls.
No. I tried to trade you for Wayne Randazzo last night. He said no to that too.
Oh, he never wants to hang out with me. I love Wayne. Love you, Wayne. So first off, I want to give Todd Frazier a little bit of love right now before we begin, because I was looking at stolen base projections. We currently have a player who's on pace for not over 70, over
going.
80.
Let's go, baby. And that might be the only thing that I got going for me in the preseason.
Hey, whatever.
Hey, no, listen.
Don't talk about the other one. Just talk about the good shit, because that's what most people do. They pump the good stuff that they say, which I actually had a money take on the Angels from years ago, and I found the tweet last night.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, go ahead. It's about you.
You guys talked about, teams having that many. There's going to be some – I brought up people. So I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but as of right now, I'm sitting on this one, man. I'm sitting on a pile of gold, so hopefully it keeps up. So, boys, I appreciate it.
I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm going to and talk about stolen bases.
Bonus points if you can pronounce his first name.
Estuary. The guy from the A's.
Yep. He's got 25 stolen bags.
What's 80 what?
I think it's on pace for 81 was my rough math. And then number 2 is Ronald Acuna Jr. And then there's like 80 players tied with 14 right now.
The problem he plays for the A's, so that's the only thing they have going for him.
That's good for him because no one cares. Like, nothing matters. Your games already don't count. They have, 10 wins still? Is it still 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. He's going to get a lot of down 7-2 stealing second base to get that record. It's not even a record.
He's not catching Ricky.
No, it's not even a record. He's just going to if he knows Todd, Estuary Ruiz is actually a huge Todd Frazier fan. He came up as a third baseman. No, he didn't actually.
He did foul a ball off his foot last night. I thought he was. I was like, oh no, he's going to be out for a while.
No,
Ruiz
did keep stealing.
Yeah, he's like, nope, I'm just kidding. He pulled the low cane. He pulled the low cane and then stole 3 bases.
Yes, that's the low cane move right there.
Yeah.
Where he's like,
gone.
So today we have Wil Myers of the Cincinnati Reds joining us, and we'll talk about the Reds giveaway that we've got going on. We're also going to actually, that's the start of the giveaway. The one we're actually giving away today is the Shohei Ohtani signed photo for Angels fans.
Wow.
So they're all watching and listening. Ryan Divish talking Seattle Mariners with us, and then Lucy Burdge coming back to go over our picks of the day. Let's charge the mound right now because we do have Myers joining us pretty soon. We'll start with the video game score. 20 runs for the Blue Jays off 27 hits. 1 run for the Tampa Bay Rays. But it only counts as 1 game.
Did you see the stat, though? The Rangers were second behind the Rays by 20 runs in run differential, and because they won 5-1 and they lost 20-1, they actually jumped ahead of them in run because of this one game. This one game caused them to jump ahead they were down 20 runs, and they jumped them.
And this is why Charge the Mound, presented by Tyrus Baseball, actually starts off with a key question today. Is run differential bullshit?
No.
You like it?
It matters. Now, it won't be exactly.
Look at this game.
Okay. Rayleigh gave up 7 earned runs and Christian Bethancourt gave up 3. So they give up 10 of the 20. but it still matters. You telling me the Rays before this game, the Rays weren't the best team in baseball? The run differential had it, and the Rangers are pretty good.
Are the Rays the best team in baseball, though?
The run differential.
Do you think that they're the top team in your power rankings, or that you think is going to be there at the end of the season? I like the Rays a lot. I'm just saying, did the
I
run
think that's two
differential
different
tell
questions.
You? Okay, answer them.
You said, are they your top team in your power rankings right now, and are they going to be there at the end of the season? I think it's two different. No, I think other teams like the Rangers and the Orioles have been playing better than them in the American League. Even maybe even the Yankees.
So they're not number one in your power rankings.
Not right now. Are they going to be there at the end of the season? Number one? Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, then who's number one?
At the end of the season?
No, right now.
I mean, power rankings are like a weekly thing. Like who's playing the hottest right now? And I think the Rangers are tough. I think they'd be up there. I think the Orioles were, and I'm completely spitballing here, so I need to do more research. But I think there's teams that are playing better than them in this week, whatever week it is, May something. But on the line of run differential, I'm on board with run differential, but I think the Orioles have been playing better. I think the Yankees have been playing. I'd say they're probably on the same boat. So I'm gonna say Texas or the Dodgers would be my two top teams.
Texas, the team that lost to Pittsburgh this week.
Well,
they lost the game.
They're allowed to lose.
AJ, you always find a way to put a dig in there, bro.
Well, no, I'm just asking because he's wearing a Yankees shirt. Okay, so of course he's going to say, "Oh, the Rays aren't my favorite team because look at my chest."
That's not
I played
true
for the
at
Yankees
all.
once.
No
So,
way.
yeah, I mean the Rays have the best record. Their run differential's off the charts.
They're 5 of their last 5.
You're allowed to lose games. I was just told.
Oh wait. No, that's not good.
Hey, let me jump in here. I'll be quick too. Run differential is great and all to see. Oh man, plus 35 right now, whatever it is. But you got to win games. I don't care how you win the games. I see the stat. It's like all these other stats that pitchers have and hitters have. There's only a couple main stats that I worry about, and that's winning games. That's getting guys in and scoring position. That's RBIs. And, my stat is the eye test. Are you a clutch player? Are you a baller? Let's go. And that's enough for me. I'll leave it at that.
I think run differential is going to tell you what is coming in the future. Who is going to continue the track that they're on? I don't know what kind of sample size it is. I mean, we got 50 games in now. So I feel like run differential is going to tell you who you are. Are the Blue Jays going to score 20 runs every night? No. But it tells you that they're not the team that they were in the last, 10 games where they're 3-7.
That brings
run differentials over the long haul, though. It'll tell you, do you have good pitching and do you have good hitting? And usually the teams that have both have a good run differential and also means, boom, they're in the postseason. So it matters. It's not the end-all, be-all.
No.
It's not like how you look at WAR.
Me? When have I even talked about
I don't know.
WAR
I heard you
so
talk
deeply?
about WAR and X-WAR and
Listen.
In my old MLB Network days, when they
Yes.
forced me,
Yes.
they put my head down to talk about WAR, Braun.
Like I'm gonna bring up Scotty, and I'm gonna give you a little praise here, Scotty. But I'm gonna keep it simple. They are who we thought they were, like you say. Sample size over a long haul, we can talk. But Scott, I'll give you praise, bro. You talk about it all the time. Let's pump the brakes. You said it about Pittsburgh, just for one example. So toot your horn there, Scotty.
Thank you. That's my line. Pump the brakes. Hey, let's get insight on the Rays. Let's bring in a friend of ours right now who used to play there, and we'll talk Reds with him. Wil Myers joining the show right now, live on FT. Will, how you doing? And also, do you think the Rays are the best team in baseball right now? Your old buddies?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to argue against them. I mean, I was sitting here listening to y'all's conversation. I do like run differential a little bit. I mean, these guys pitch and hit as good as anybody else in the game. It's hard to kind of argue against the Rays being the best team right now.
Thank you, Will. Now, can you take your hat off? Because I want to see your payload.
Of course. Look at
Oh,
this.
wow. There it is.
It's perfect, baby. It's perfect.
Hey,
That's good.
Will,
Scott's jealous.
where are you right now, big dog? You got wooden doors behind you. Where you at?
I'm down in my basement. My wife's upstairs, so I just wanted to make sure I had no
Nice.
interruptions. Just down here in the basement, just doing this podcast for the first time.
That's pretty cool, man. That's
Cool.
pretty
Looks
cool.
like Escape the Room. You know those?
No
Escape
doubt,
room?
that's right.
Not
That's right.
escape the room.
Escape.
Escape the room.
Whatever.
Dude, you live in Orlando. There's one in every
Escape the
corner,
room.
bro.
I don't go. I went once.
So, you didn't
Hey,
escape the room.
Hey, Will, talk about David Bell, man. He's been getting thrown out a lot lately. I had him as a AA manager in Zebulon, North Carolina for the Carolina Mudcats. And this guy, he was either getting speeding tickets or he was getting thrown out of games, bro. Tell the people how.
He's great, man. I mean, I tell you what, he's been a lot of fun to play for this year. He's been great. He's been a lot of fun to play for this year. He's very mild mannered guy. Does a great job in the clubhouse with the guys. But I tell you what, this guy can flip a switch at any given moment. It's really fun to see. It's great as a player to see a manager like that can have your back in any single moment. I do like that he's very soft spoken, but at any moment, man, this guy can flip a switch and really have your back on the field, which is great.
No doubt.
David Bell, he was the hitting coach. I told you the story the other day. So when you see him, ask him about his broken toe when he was flipping to me.
I'll ask him today about that one.
Yeah, say, hey, remember that time when AJ couldn't hit a ball over 80 exit velo and I thought I could get out of the way and then I smoked him in the toe?
That'll be the first thing I ask him today.
Yeah, it would be like, that son of a bitch. So what's it like for you? Because I did the Padres series last year and when you guys beat the Dodgers, and it was one of the best atmospheres I've ever been a part of. Then you went out after that and you bought all the drinks for everybody in San Diego. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Todd Frazier's never done that. Eric Kratz has never done that. I've never done that. So please explain why and who came up with that idea.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I tell you what, I've been there for 8 years, and I went through the whole rebuilding process there in San Diego. And early on in my career, the Dodgers beat us pretty regularly over the regular season. And I think just being there in my last year in San Diego, playing against the Dodgers in the biggest series that I had played with them, to be able to beat them in that game, in that series, in the postseason was incredible. Like you said, I mean, I had never seen an atmosphere like that before. I'd played in some postseason games, but never seen, the atmosphere there in the ninth inning of Game 4 there in San Diego. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And I felt that after the game, there was just a real buzz in the stadium. There was a real buzz in downtown. And I just felt that in that moment, it would have been cool to go out and go to a bar and buy some drinks for the fans. I felt that in that moment it was a great win for the city. It was a lot of fun, and to be able to do that for the fans, leave on a high note was really cool.
What was the total? How much? Are you going to tell us how much?
It was $1,000 flat, actually. So it was
okay.
right on that line. It was perfect. It was a good story. I'll always remember that number.
Did you know you were going to be done? Did you know you weren't coming back to San Diego?
I had a pretty good feeling they weren't going to pick up the large option that was on that, and I felt that in that moment it was probably not best for both sides, but in that moment in the business it was we would just part ways. But I enjoyed my time in San Diego, had a great time. Was able to end on a high note. Obviously, I'd like to beat the Phillies there in the NLCS, but that's the way it goes sometimes in the playoffs.
Hey, Will, talk about this up and coming young kid. He's tall, Matty McLean, tiny dude, but he's a scrapper. He gets after it a little bit. Tell everybody who doesn't really know much about him, unless you're in Cincinnati, how good this young man could be.
Yeah, this guy can play, man. And I saw a little bit of him in spring training. Play a little bit. I knew he was quick. I knew he had good hands. But to be able to see him over here for the last week and a half, it's been a lot of fun. He's very energetic on the field. He plays great defense. I think he's one of the best I've seen at really charging soft ground balls, getting the out. It's something that I feel that some middle infielders can struggle with. This guy really gets to the ball well. I like what he does at the plate. He's got a great approach for a young player. The guy goes out there and has good at bats each and every day. It's been a lot of fun to watch him play shortstop and hitting the 2-hole for us.
You had mentioned earlier how the Dodgers, during your time with the Padres, kind of beating the brakes off you guys, and then you guys do it to them. I know that felt really good. Do you feel like maybe the Padres celebrated that too much and have kind of a hangover this year?
Listen, I'm not exactly sure. I haven't followed them too much. I know that it hasn't went as well as everybody thought. But I think that's a great team in San Diego. They got a ton of talent. I don't necessarily think there's a hangover. I think there was a ton of excitement there in that offseason with all the guys that they brought in. So I think, they're obviously very talented. I think they're going to win a lot of games. Obviously, that Dodger team, they do a great job over there. They've been doing it a long time. They seem to have a way to win 95 plus games almost every single year. So, I know that's going to be a tough one to kind of take down. But I think the San Diego Padres are obviously very talented. I don't think they'll necessarily have a tough time getting to the playoffs, but we'll see.
Will, come on, be serious here. You check that score every day, and every time they lose, you get a little bit of you should have picked up my option, that big option I had, you sons of bitches. It's okay. We all played. We know how it goes. You have a big option. You're like, man, if they would have kept me for my $20 million, man, we would have been winning way more games.
They need an apple.
No, man. You know what, dude? I'll tell you what. Those guys have a good team. I think it was one of those things that they decided to spend that money in a different way. It is what it is. That's the way this game goes. Obviously, I check some box scores every now and then. I got a lot of good friends on that team, so I like to see how they're doing. I think they're I'm definitely not pulling against them. I'm pulling for the Padres. I really like A.J. Preller there. I like Peter Seidler a lot. So I'm pulling for those guys to really do something well there in San Diego.
Yo, Will, the thrill. I want to bring up something off topic here between you and I. Hey, let's go back in the day, dude. You and me, we're with CAA. We're getting ready for camp. So long story short, the agency we're with, CAA, they have guys that are in the minor leagues, some in major leagues, like that. Jeter would come, Ryan Howard. We go down this place in Florida and we'd work out 5 days a week, train, morning, noon, night, eat healthy and everything else. And then this guy, Will, all of a sudden he's dunking basketballs like it's nothing. I said, yo, let's play a little horse for a little cash.
Sure.
I'm wondering your pockets. They're really empty after that, no?
Yeah. After those horse games, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're remembering it wrong. I was the one that was winning those games. You were the one that remember you couldn't dunk, so that was why I got those free letters back in the day. So that was what it was, man. This guy could only do some trick shots, bank shots over the basket. It was a bunch of crap.
Great.
No, but
dunk?
listen, I was able to dunk, but it was early in the morning. My legs were sore. Anyway, who does a dunk in horse? Like that's guys, wouldn't that be cheating? Like you got to do trick shots in horse, no?
You got to do something to win.
Yeah,
I noticed my opponent couldn't jump, so I had to play against my opponent and go for the dunk for the free letters.
Hey, I was throwing balls up, hitting off my head, popping them in, off the backboard, behind the back. Like I was doing MJ stuff just without the dunks. But I just remember I was eating really good. I think I was eating at Ruth Chris that night after everything was said and done.
Hey, you are the master of trick shots, that's for sure. You had them in the bag.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
You got
appreciate that.
Hey, Will, what do you have in the rotation this year for walk-up music?
Dude, I've had the same one my entire career. It's Kickstart My Heart, Motley Crue. I know a bunch of guys switch up their walkout songs, but I've been one of those guys that's kind of kept the same one. I've had it in the minor leagues as well. Just really kind of my favorite rock song, and I feel like it kind of fits me well. I just have stuck with it all my career.
Never changed it. Not even like a time when you were pissed off or you're slumping or whatever. Your entire career, only one.
Entire career. I think I had Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin in the minor leagues for like maybe a month or something like that. But it's been Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue.
I like it. I didn't change mine.
Yeah.
You never changed it once?
No. I mean, I changed it. I switched teams and they changed it, but that was it.
Right,
Hey, Scott, I was the same way. Fly Me to the Moon. The only time I changed mine was when James Gandolfini passed away. I played Woke Up This Morning. And that's the only time I changed mine.
That's right. People think changing your walkout songs lead to hits, but no. I don't think that's true. I just don't think it's true.
And it's good branding.
Hey, this Reds teams, bro. Listen, you guys are only 6 games out right now, dude. I mean, everybody in the beginning of the year, like, the Reds are gonna, do whatever they got to do. I know it's only 2 months sample size. Scotty Braun talks about it all the time. Sure. Where you'll be at the end of the year, we don't know. But still, you're only 6 games out. You guys are still plugging along. No Joey Votto. So, where do you guys see yourself at the end of the year?
I mean, honestly, man, I know the Reds had a tough year last year, really mainly a tough start. But I think we came into spring training. Guys that have been on this team last year were ready and hungry to not let that happen, come out with a good start. It's been a lot of fun being here in Cincinnati, seeing this young team, really seeing this organization go from a bad year to a year where we're really competing on a nightly basis. We got a great young group. I think there's a lot of great players that people don't know about. Like you talked about Matt McClain, guys like TJ Friedel, Jake Fraley, guys like that are really good players. India's having a great season after being hurt last year. So it's a lot of fun to go into the clubhouse each and every day with this young team. Guys are energized. I think that guys like Hunter Green, Ashcraft at the front of the rotation are really good as well. Lodolo just went on the DL, but he's a great pitcher as well. So I feel like the Reds, as we're competing on a nightly basis right now, I like what we're doing for the season, but I think this organization is set up very well for the future. I know they got some really good prospects in AAA. This Dela Cruz guy I saw in spring training, he's very, very good. He's hitting the ball as hard as anybody in baseball right now I've seen down in the minor leagues. So it's a fun time here in Cincinnati. We're going out there each and every day trying to win each game. It's been a lot of fun, and I think the future here in Cincinnati is very bright.
Walk us through the free agent process for you, because you've never gone through it. And then you come out and you sign with the Reds.
Yeah, you know what? Cincinnati was a place I've really enjoyed playing throughout my career. I was able to come here a good amount of times. One thing I love being in San Diego. I really did, but the only slight negative to it was I'm from North Carolina, so it's a 5-hour flight, for my family. So I was looking for something more centrally located, and Cincinnati was really on my mind the entire time. It's a place that I enjoyed playing. It's a good ballpark to hit in, as everybody knows. So that was one thing that really brought me to Cincinnati, the location and a good place to hit.
Have you ever had or seen therapy sessions with pitchers about saying it's okay, this ballpark sometimes sucks for you and is awesome for us?
Sure. I mean, it is what it is. I think everybody that comes to plays here understands the ballpark, and I think our pitchers have done a nice job. But it definitely favors hitters. No, I definitely don't give any pitchers any therapy sessions. They get 4 balls to our 3 strikes, so I don't feel bad for them about anything.
Yeah. Do they sell you on that when you spoke to them? Like, well, have you seen our ballpark?
I already knew that. Obviously, that was something that they mentioned, but I already knew going into it that it was a great ballpark. I really like the right field here. The ball flies pretty well. It's one of those things as a hitter, you're not afraid to get jammed, which is nice, and can squeak some balls out to right field, which is nice every now and then.
Have you had Skyline Chili, and how fast? If you have, how fast did you end up in the bathroom?
I actually have not had it yet, man. Everybody keeps telling me to go. I definitely need to make time and go check it out. I heard it's chili with some sweetness to it, which is interesting. But I think I'm gonna have to give it a try and see what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, Sean Casey will take you, and he'll just devour the heck out of it. Even how about Grader's ice cream? You have Grader's ice cream?
Grader's is great, actually. They sent me some ice cream. It's really, really good. My wife loves it as well. So Grader's is a good spot. I do enjoy some ice cream.
Hey, have you spent any time or communicated with Votto, maybe back in spring training? Because is he with this squad right now?
Yeah, he's been going back and forth. So I saw him in spring training. He's obviously coming back from his shoulder. One of those things that it can take up to 12 to 18 months to really get back where you're completely healthy. So he's working hard every day. He was in the clubhouse yesterday. I've been able to see him a decent amount throughout this season. We're all anxious for his return, but we want him to come back healthy. He's a great player. He was, and that was another reason we wanted to come play here as well, to play with a guy like that, a future Hall of Famer. So we're all looking forward to getting Joey Votto back. He's a great player and great for the clubhouse as well.
Did he say anything like funny or stand out to you? Because dude, he's just a walking soundbite.
Yeah, no, he's great, man. He hosted Reds Got Talent in the clubhouse, where we had some guys come up and perform some things, and he did a great job as a host of that. He was a lot of fun, very funny. He even had an act as well, and got up there and did it. And it was really good. He's been a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, he's hysterical. Once he loosens up, dude, there's nothing better. So my last thing, and I'll let you go. I just want to get this story straight here, because AJ didn't think I did this. But do you remember when I threw out the first pitch for the Reds?
I do.
Was it a strike or a ball?
It was a strike right there.
Thank you very much. That's it. Don't need to say anymore. Don't need to say anymore. Appreciate that. So
Wait, who caught it? It wasn't you, right?
Luke.
It wasn't me. No, I don't remember who caught it, but I remember that he caught it right here in his chest.
Thank you very much. So that bottle of scotch that you still owe me, AJ, I'll give you my address later. Anyway,
Yeah, wish in one hand and shit in the other. See which fills up faster.
anyway, that's some down south stuff. I don't even know what he's talking about. Anyway, last thing, I'm giving away the ball that I threw, a giveaway on Foul Territory TV on Twitter. So I want everybody to tell the boys and girls in Cincinnati, check it out. All you got to do is follow and look at that form. Beautiful.
Wow.
That is nice form. Did you have a
All
great
right.
shot, Father?
And if you retweet it, everybody listening out there, all right, there it is. Sign First Pitch Ball, follow Foul Territory on Twitter, retweet for the Frazier giveaway, and it goes live 3 p.m. today. Enjoy that. Will, you can even retweet this because I know you want this ball.
I do want that ball.
Retweet
That
me.
strike, man.
Thank you, bro. Hey, we appreciate you coming on the show, man. Thanks again, and good luck the rest of the way, dude.
Appreciate it. Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Will. Good catching up, dude. Appreciate
Yeah. No doubt. Later.
Wil Myers from the Cincinnati Reds with us. Good
He's
stuff.
a beast. Hey, he can hit a golf ball, by the way. We didn't get involved in that, but he can hit a golf ball a ton.
And he can clearly dunk a basketball pretty well.
He got bunny hops. I call him bunny hops. This guy, I kept beating him. Long story short, I kept beating him, and he goes, "All right, fine, I'm gonna dunk." I said, "Bro, you can't do that. That's true." I was trying to, and then I would dunk it, and the ball would go in after I hit the rim. I said, "Account," and me and him would argue the whole time.
I like
Why
that.
can't you dunk when you're playing pig?
Well, what if the other person can't dunk?
All right, so here you go, Eric.
Every
Eric,
time,
how
then you
about
just do
this?
3 dunks and it's over.
Yep.
Okay,
You can't dunk.
I used to be able to.
Okay.
Scotty.
Yeah.
Scotty, how about this? I'm playing against my son in horse, okay, on a 10-foot rim. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna dunk, okay, but then he can't dunk, so it's not fair. Like, you don't do that. That's just not fair.
That's what I was saying. You can't do
No
that.
mercy. Have you ever seen Karate Kid? No mercy.
I've seen Bloodsport.
Yeah, no mercy.
It's not fair.
What if I got a brutal J? What if I got a brutal J and you
Stay in
keep
the
shooting
paint.
jumpers?
Stay in the paint.
Yeah, I agree. That's a pretty common rule.
No, I mean, when you're playing against
Pig
your
or
kid
horse.
dunking, obviously, but if you're playing against another adult,
No.
Wil Myers did
no.
360 dunk.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
how
all right,
many
you win.
adults can dunk? Then don't even play the game. Just dunk 3, 4, 5
How many adults
times.
they
whatever
can't make
it
a
is.
three-pointer, but if I go back there and drill
Nah,
one,
that's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
That's
at
not
all.
the same.
Okay.
You guys are not.
catcher power.
That's not a fair fight.
I mean, I disagree. Hey, Dad, I can't make those when you shoot them off the backboard. Hey, fundamentals, kid.
Nah, that's different. Some people, no matter what, are not going to be able to dunk.
Some people, no matter what, aren't going to be able to make a three-pointer.
Nah.
God, it's like you and me. Yeah.
They're not going to be able to win. I guess they're not going to be able to win pig then. P-I-G.
Okay, you guys go play on your own. I'm going to take us back to Charge the Mound topics. So,
Sure.
see what Christopher Morel's been up to?
Homering every game,
Every game.
Dingers.
including in AAA. Do you have me hitting AAA?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's later, by the way. He has homered in 5 straight games,
Yep.
and he's also an extra base hit machine. He hasn't been up for that long, and some Cubs fans were
No.
like, why did he spend any time in the minor leagues?
Well,
this
because
year?
of who they had in the outfield and who they have in the infield.
Yeah, but he can bounce around.
Yeah, but at the beginning of
he
the
did
year,
that last year.
you don't usually give guys days off. So you have Bellinger, Happ, Suzuki.
Yeah.
Then you have Horner, Swanson, Wisdom, right? Or your infielders. And
You give
What
a
is
guy
no, at the
He's got
beginning of the year.
options. He's got
right.
options.
That's the
Yes.
answer.
And he wasn't that great for him last year either.
He was energetic, so you saw his
Yes.
home runs. Like, he was very demonstrative.
Yes.
So that's why you remember Christopher Morel home runs. It's my Jason Phillips theory. You have to do something for people to remember you because most of us are just average at baseball.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So in this game last night, Mervis
Mervis.
hit his first home
Not
run.
Mervis?
First home run at Wrigley.
No. Oh, was it first at Wrigley?
So my brother
Because not his first.
texted me last night, and this is a question for you guys. My brother's friend caught the ball. Has the ball. And they said to him,
Throw it back.
no, he's on the Cubs. They don't do that there. But they came to him and said, hey, what do you want for the ball? So my brother texts me and goes, hey, what'd you ask for? I'm like, nothing. Give it back. It doesn't mean crap to you. Give it to. I go. Tell you what. If you give this guy back his ball, that if he wants it, he'll give you something signed. What are you gonna ask for? Season tickets? He's gonna be like, screw off. But like, like a signed bat, a signed jersey, whatever. But if you just say, hey, dude, I don't really care. Here's a ball. And the Cubs will give you something.
Mhm.
Plus, they might give you more for being a good dude.
Mm-mm.
So I just give it back to him. And then they ended up saying, no, he doesn't want it. You can just keep it.
What?
But you said it wasn't his first career home run. It was his first home run at Wrigley.
It must have been. He had one. I guess the one. I'm pretty sure it was on.
Yeah,
the road.
I think it was his first one at Wrigley.
Memorized, but I know he's got 2.
Okay, so
I remember seeing his first one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do
what
too.
what do you guys think? I thought that was the right move. Be like, dude, just give it to the guy. You don't care about that ball.
It's the right move, but you know how people are nowadays, man. It's mine. I want something in return. No, listen, it's the right move. You know, maybe give me a tour of Wrigley Field after the game.
They took him down. They took him down underneath, and then they said, no, he doesn't want to go back to your seat in the bleachers.
Is it valuable to you to have your
Hang with
first
him.
home run ball at home?
No. You want your first home run ball.
Right. So put that aside.
Maybe at Wrigley, I don't know, Wrigley was a little bit different than mine at the Metrodome.
So then it's not that big a deal.
I didn't think so. But even if it is a big deal, like I never understood. Now I know there's collectors out there and you can get a lot of money. And we had Doug Minkiewicz.
Not for this ball, though.
That's
Unless
what
he
I'm saying.
becomes like
That's what I'm saying. But even if he
all
becomes
world.
the greatest player of all time. Think
It's
about
his
the guy.
second
he'll
career
have
homer.
some value.
Think
right.
about
Right.
Think
But
about the
not-
guy in Tampa that got Tom Brady's last touchdown ball. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I'm coming back for another year. That ball's worthless now.
Yeah. AJ, how many home runs did you hit in your career?
183.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. How many?
I'm just guessing.
It was 180. So it was around 190. I don't know the exact number. I really don't.
How many did you keep of those balls? Like, were there any significance to any? Like, did you
I
keep
have my
besides
first
the one that you
home
first
run
home run?
ball. I have one that I hit in the playoffs. I have my 100th homer, and I think that's it.
All right. No, I was just curious. That's all.
I mean, the rest are, whatever.
Todd, how
Oh,
many
wait,
you keep?
actually, no, I take that back. I hit this one off Dempster, and a guy sent it to me in the mail. It was at Wrigley. After the Michael Barrett fight, it was my first game at Wrigley, and I hit a guy in Waveland out there, and he sent it to me. I traded him a signed jersey for the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him for it. He came to me. He came to the White Sox and said, hey, this was a cool moment for you. I caught the ball, and here. And so, but he got like all engraved and stuff. It's kind of cool.
You went
If you
Oppo
ever
into
see Dempster
Waveland?
bring it up, he loves it.
Awesome.
Hey, let's show that Sarah Lang's tweet. So 9 home runs, tied for the second most homers in a player's first 12 games of a season since 1900. That's usually modern era. With 2001, Luis Gonzalez, 1997, Larry Walker, behind only Mike Schmidt in 1976, who had 11 in his first 12 games.
It's pretty awesome.
That
11
is
in 12 games?
insane. 9 dingers in 12 games to start your season.
Plus, people forget Luis Gonzalez in 2001 was hotter than fire.
Yeah.
And then Barry Bonds just went, I'm at 70.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely shot off. Let's get to the Yankees.
No, I got
got
you.
that.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Bad
was
joke?
the only one
I don't
that
know.
get it.
Whatever. I tried. Yankees, Aaron Judge blasted a little splitter from Felix Bautista. And then Volpe with a sac fly in the 10th. Yanks topped the Orioles. The Orioles were playing good ball. I mean, they might have had a shot at Eric Kratz's coveted power rankings,
He said them. He mentioned them.
but not number 1.
No, because he has a Yankees thing on his chest.
No, I said Texas.
Texas.
AJ's a little bitter towards the Yankees, man. I don't know what it is.
I'm not bitter towards the Yankees at all.
I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
He
You
thinks-
tell me what I think.
Well, we finish each other's sentences, clearly. Yeah, he thinks there's some New York bias sometimes
Yeah.
with fans, with media, and this year with sticky stuff.
No, you know what
Major League
what it
Baseball in
is?
general.
Scott, I remember what it is now. Suzanne Walton. She's I saw her the other day, man, and
Did she say something?
I'm gonna keep it quiet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Susan, say what you want, sweetie.
I'm kidding. But
Calling him out?
no, that's where that must have first started, because then he's like, you know what? Forget these Yankees. Suzanne doesn't like me. I'm done. Susan.
I think it started way before that.
What, Yankees?
Yeah,
Dude, I played for the Twins in the early 2000s.
you're
You think
Midwest.
You think I like the Yankees?
You're a
Are we
We
Midwest.
having-
whoop our butts all the time. You think I like the Yankees? How would I like the Yankees?
Are we having an AJ session right now? Are we having a what AJ feels?
No,
Like,
Scott's telling me what I think. Apparently, you guys are going to tell me how I feel. I actually
Like
don't
when
mind the
people
Yankees.
see the Yankee symbol, they either feel one way or the other. They're like, "Oh, I love them," or like, "I've been, my whole life been told to hate them." So I started working for and actually wore this exact shirt. I was working for the player development for the Red Sox. A whole crew of people that are just like, hate, don't like them, blah, blah, blah. Hate, don't like them, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. And so the one Zoom meeting, we had player development Zoom meetings all the time. It was right after COVID. It was 21. And so the one Zoom meeting, I just show up 2 minutes before the Zoom meeting, and I'm just like this. with the Yankees shirt on, and everybody was furious to the point where there were some people I knew on there that were like knew that I was joking about it. There were some guys that were furious I was wearing that on the Red Sox Zoom meeting for player development.
Well, I'll say this. That's a respect thing because you are working for a team and you're wearing another team's uniform. So it's a respect. I mean, listen, Mark Burley, when I first signed with the White Sox, he wore a Cardinals hat to a game. And he was pitching for the White Sox. And I'm like, dude, we're not doing that. He's like, why not? I'm like, you play for the White Sox. I understand you're from St. Louis, but you just don't wear another team's gear while you're working for another team. Now, in the offseason, probably do whatever you want, even though you still are getting paid, but you still got paid all year by the White Sox. But don't, come rocking to the field. Like, that's just that's a disrespect thing for me.
Hey, can I give you another example? Say the Yankees are playing the Mets, and the fans come to the field with Marlins jersey on or White Sox. Like, why you come to a game wearing?
I do like, yeah.
There's two teams playing that, and then you're bringing a Padres jersey to the game. Like, why do fans do that? Can somebody answer me that on here? Somebody go on Foul Territory, and then we got to post that question on there.
I think that's funny.
Why do people wear other jerseys to games where they have no affiliation with?
I agree. I hate that.
I think that is so silly. I completely agree.
Well, I understand the Marlins guy. That's like his MO with the orange Marlins jersey. Okay, that's his MO. But like Scott Braun going to see the Yankees play the White Sox, and he's wearing a Seattle jersey. Like, what is that? So why?
He would be that guy. He would be that guy.
I'm definitely not.
Angels jersey.
Angels
jersey. Yes.
Angels jersey.
But by the way,
Hell
what
yeah,
you guys
baby.
don't know about me is
Squad.
I was born in New York.
Oh,
shocker.
How
Moved
many
to
minutes
Florida.
did you spend there?
yeah, went right
I
to
moved
Florida.
when I was 2, but I would go
Okay.
every summer to New York, and guess what game was on? The Yankees game.
Yeah.
So I was a huge Mattingly guy. The 80s Yankees, those are like my jam.
Were you in the Hamptons?
Of course, dude. I was born in Bridgehampton. Of course, I was born in Bridgehampton. What the heck's wrong
Oh,
with
he
you?
was born in the Hamptons. I was
Yeah,
just
of course I
kidding.
was.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, this guy
course I was.
You're a
Scotty,
Hamptons baby.
Scotty.
We're Jersey Shore guys, so we
Scotty,
got a
he had-
Hamptons
he
baby.
had
It
rich
just changes
blood at
everything.
birth.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
He came
Go,
out.
go
he
check
came
out my
with the
family's
golden-
houses and let me know.
He came
Yeah,
out
we
with the
know.
golden spoon when he was born. The
Yeah.
golden spoon.
Yeah, if you consider potato farmers golden spooners, I was way high on the list.
Golden potatoes, baby.
Yeah.
Wait, one step back for a moment, because it is a pet peeve of mine as well, and I've asked people about it. I've gotten 2 answers. 1, that's my team, so I'm going to this game, but that's my team. 2,
Okay.
I like the style, like someone who always just wears a certain Blue Jays hat or some shit, and they just want to wear it everywhere. Or I didn't even pay attention to it. I agree. I'm like, I know you've got one other hat, one other shirt. Like, just skip it for going to the game with 2 other teams. It's not that complicated.
Just wear
Y'all
an all
remember-
black shirt or an all white.
At the same time, I'm a big do whatever the fuck you want guy. So,
Well, we know that.
Y'all remember Adam Lind? Adam Lind wins his first year he's drafted. He wins Player of the Year for whatever, minor league Player of the Year. So they fly him to Toronto.
Oh no.
So we're with the Blue Jays. And this was when the backwards hats, they used to put the logo on the side, so you'd be able to rock the hat sideways. He had a Yankees one, and he wears it in the airport to Toronto, his Yankees hat, all the way to like lands in Toronto, doesn't wear it to the stadium, but he flew with his Yankees hat on as a Toronto minor league player of the year.
Tough look.
See, it's just a respect thing, really. I mean, that's it. But the jersey, that jersey thing is, I'm out on that.
Agreed.
Let's do some previewing, shall we? It is. Oh, first off, wait. Let me finish what we just did here.
Oh, we didn't even mention Garrett Cole's 2,000 strikeout.
Yeah, no.
Or Aaron Judge's homer off Bautista, who's just filthy.
I started there.
And then Volpe, my guy.
He banged the splitter, and Volpe did his thing, and it feels like fam. And I love Rizzo picking him up like you're just grabbing a log. Like, all right.
And I'm going to give. And by the way, speaking of rookie of the years, I'm going to give some love to Kratz's team, the Rangers. Josh Young.
Yeah,
he's having a year, dude.
Dude can hit.
He swings that shillelagh.
Yeah.
It's
great
violent.
hitter. So that's it for Charge the Mound. Shop at TireSpaceball.com where you'll find high-quality Tyrus maple bats, pine tar grip sticks, rosin bags, and other accessories. The pros know tires to you. Whenever I do the read, I start grabbing some of the Tires products just to make sure that AJ doesn't pick them up and use them incorrectly. So
watch the video. I use them all correctly.
No, the video is really good, I will say.
He's going to put pine tar stick and thicky on your seat.
We got a
whole jar of it.
Don't give him ideas. We got Kratz's demo coming soon.
Yeah, but he only got to use the stick. He didn't have to do all the stuff.
Oh, what? His isn't as
No,
as
I'm just saying he did not get to have as much fun because he only got to.
Mine's a quick hitter.
And it's like people that can't dunk. They just don't get to have as much fun in life, and they lose a lot more. Right?
True.
Yeah. All right, let's preview games right now, shall we? Last minute game time. Let's look at the slate. Yeah, there's some day games, but for this case, you get hooked up with the Game Time app. You use the code FTLive, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And the point here, if you're new to the party, last minute tickets to a game tonight. Where the hell are you going? Raise your hand if you'd like to start. I have 3 games highlighted that stand out to me. Oh, this is tough. You pick, AJ. They both have their hands raised. Which one?
We'll go Todd. He's feeling lonely today.
Okay.
Lonely, I'm so lonely. Hey, I'm sticking with the Yankees, man. Baltimore. This is a great series. Wells versus Cortez. Wells having a really good year. Nestor had a really good outing last time. There's no better place to be at Yankee Stadium, man. It's going to be a really good game, especially after last night's game. More fireworks. Baltimore versus the Yanks. Let's go.
I mean, more New York bias. Oh, AJ's just so.
Let me guess, Scratch. You want to go to
the?
the Yankees too? Let me guess.
No way. Anytime you get to go to Colorado and you get to see Sandy Alcantara throw 193 pitches for a CG in the stadium known as Colorado's launching pad, gotta see it. I love seeing this guy on the mound because when you go to Colorado as a pitcher, you have to compete. And I want to see what he does. He's gonna try to get after it, but I don't know. It's scary out there.
Yeah, I'm going a little closer here to home. I'm going Tampa Bay because McClanahan's pitching. They gave up 20 last night. And
Not happening again.
They got that dude 7-0 that's right there in the Cy Young conversation. And plus, later on when we do our locks, Kikuchi might be involved in my lock of the day, so I also kind of want to see him pitch. But after giving up 20, guess who you want on the mound? It's like when a manager used to have a meeting and throw the table and be like, "Gosh damn, we need to be better. We need to be better." Oh, by the way, we're playing the A's and we have our best pitcher on the mound. So let's have a meeting before that game, boys.
It must really suck if you do that and you lose.
Well, sometimes it happens.
It happens. It's bad.
But managers always know when to do their little their pregame. You can't do it. You can't do it if you're like you have a minor league starter coming up and you're playing the 27 Yankees. You're like, probably not the best day to have a meeting. It might not go well.
Nope. Agreed.
Scott, I think I know what you're going to pick, Scott.
You do know, and I want to just do like a runner-up for me because Senga versus Stroman's a cool pitching matchup with Mets-Cubs. But go ahead, Todd Father. You know where I'm going.
That was my pick, Senga versus
really?
Stroman.
No, you're going Angels, bro.
Obviously, I'm going
Angels.
Red Sox Angels, baby, all day. I want to check out Tyler Anderson
Tim
on the mound.
RBI single.
Tim is already hitting, and he's going to be NLCS MVP for the Dodgers because they like him, apparently. James Paxton, though, is actually why I'm going real talk. James Paxton has not pitched much, if you've paid attention to him over the last several years. Dude was one of my favorite pitchers when he was in his prime with Seattle. great lefty, high velo, secondary stuff, awesome. When he could locate, sometimes had control issues. Really fun pitcher to watch. I thought stuff-wise for years, one of the most talented pitchers in the game, and felt bad that he could never get back on the field. He's back right now. So there's two things. One, he's pitched pretty well. I mean, it's 2 starts, but 2.5 ERA, he's striking dudes out. Number two, you haven't seen him much, right? So I want to see what he looks like. I want to get eyes on him again and also appreciate a guy that, hasn't been able to stay on the field. So
Number
did I
3.
sell you?
Yeah, number 3. There's a chance a bald eagle could land on him and stay there for
True.
a minute like it did in Seattle. And he
True.
didn't even flinch. So
Google that. Plus, this series has been weird. Low scoring series,
good pitching.
4-0 yesterday and it was 2-1 the day before. Yeah, I watch apparently
They
every
shut
inning.
down.
They have shut down a
that
good
Red Sox
offense.
offense.
They've shut down a good offense.
So Brian
in
Bayo
Boston.
covered for me last night with that last
Just made it.
Dude,
Just
we're
made
going to
it.
get into it, but Scott is the jinx, boy. Don't not have him text you when you have a
More,
prop
not
bet
the
happening.
jinx. You got to be correct. He's Marty Mush over there.
Yeah.
Who's coming with me though? I'll also,
To Anaheim?
I know weather's going to be solid. It's a
weather's
great
going to be
spot.
solid in Tampa. It's indoors.
I'd rather spend a ballpark experience in Anaheim.
Okay.
Fair?
Yeah, fair.
Okay. So get hooked up with Game Time. Download the app, or if you're a website person, gametime.co is the spot. We're guiding you on how to get there if you're watching this on YouTube right now, because buying tickets shouldn't be stressful, okay? And I'm not just talking about sports, music, comedy, whatever it is. There's last-minute deals, and they're amazing. And
There
it's the
was
lowest
OGZ
price.
again. OG's on
guaranteed.
there every time.
What, you want us to look for something else for you?
No,
I'm in a game right now, okay? I find the flash deal, and then one of my favorite features is once I'm in there, and I've actually showed this off to a few people, you turn your phone, and your phone is the view.
It's awesome.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
They nailed it on the app interface. It's really cool. Flash deals, last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee, and if it's not the lowest price, you get 110% back. That's their guarantee back to you. That's pretty good. Okay, that means they're giving you money back. That means they know that if it's in that same section in row, they're going to have the best prices for you. So buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. It's true. Use FT Live for your promo code, $20 off your first purchase. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use that code. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code FT Live, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Okay, so joining us in about 10 minutes is Ryan Divish to talk Seattle Mariners with us. He's the beat writer for the Seattle Times. We really mixed it up, though. I want to make sure we get to every team. We got to Seattle a little bit yesterday, and then we're like, all right, let's get a writer on to talk a little bit of the AL West action going on in baseball right now. But Seattle, in my mind, and we talked about it a little yesterday, and we'll get into it, good team on paper.
So they need J-Rod, they need Julio Rodriguez, and they need Ty
Mhm.
France to start whacking. Because their offense has been anemic. I mean, their offense is non-existent. Their pitching's still really good. Best bullpen in baseball. They had the best bullpen in baseball as of last week, but their offense needs to figure it out. And I don't know what they do to find it, but the offense for Seattle, let's go, boys, because Scott picked y'all to go to the World Series, and if they don't make it, he's shaving his head.
Absolute garbage bullshit. No, from the topic at the top, when we talked run differential, Seattle has had some lower run differentials. And to me, I just feel like your bullpen can sometimes help to skew that number significantly.
Well,
Some clutch
but
hitting,
they also
yes,
won
but also
so many
your bullpen.
one-run games last year.
Right, that's what I'm
But
saying.
that levels out. What does they say? Water levels out?
Yeah,
What's
but
the saying?
did it level out last year? They made it to the playoffs, and they were a good ball club.
They got bounced.
Okay,
Bounce.
but not right away.
Bounce
Yeah, bounced by the World Series champs.
in close games.
But my point is, people were crushing their run differential at times last year, their fun differential. They were a good team. They win close games.
How's that going this year?
We're 2 months into the season, and they're fine.
Oh.
Also, last year,
like-
different roster. What are you talking about?
Do you feel like when they sit there,
It's
when
different.
you look
You're
at,
comparing
Let-
run
let
differential
Kratz
from
talk.
last
Let's
year to
let
this
Kratz
year.
talk, and then we'll get back to you.
Get out of here.
do you feel like their run differential though? Sometimes you look at Seattle, like notoriously a place where you just don't score a lot of runs. Do you look at that, or you say nah, or do you look at their bullpen and you say their bullpen's going to just keep it close, and it doesn't really matter. So they're going to have a lower run differential. It's not going to be – they're not going to ever hit like the Dodgers. They're not going to ever hit like the Rays are hitting this year or the Yankees hit last year. So their run differential could be skewed a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Before Scott, I don't know what he's looking at on his computer, but I'm going to give you 4 teams. Run differential only. You tell me which team is better. Minnesota plus 39. I'm going to give you that one. They're plus 39. They're 25 and 24. Okay?
Yep.
Now, I'm going to give you 3 teams, and I'm not going to tell you who they are.
That means the Twins are better than what
They're-
their
I'm not
record
going to tell you
is,
that.
right? According
means
to
it
your
doesn't
theory.
matter.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Plus 12, plus 28, plus 14, and I'm going to give you one more, plus 16. Which
What?
team's the best team?
I don't care. Those numbers are all close to each other.
Okay. So the Mariners are plus 28. They're 24 and 24.
Okay.
Angels plus 12. They're 27 and 23. Pirates plus 14. They're the team you hate, besides the Angels. And Arizona's only plus 16. They're 29 and 20.
That's
Right.
why
So
run
what's your
differential
point?
doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
That's why
It does
Todd
matter
Father and me
because over the
saying-
long haul, those
What?
numbers play out.
I
don't-
disagree. I don't
Because
know. I
if
don't
you
think
score
they
a lot of
always
runs,
did.
you don't give up a lot of runs, guess what? You're going to be good.
Sure. Most of the time, yes.
Not most of the time. There's not most of the time.
Historically, they play out.
Since the beginning of time. You score
Since
more
Bill-
runs than you let in, you win.
I actually personally, because it's not like I'm knocking numbers. I like expected stats and expected numbers better than
That's what
run
That's what
differential.
run differential is.
It's not. Run differential is actually the runs you put down. Expected stats are more looking at like what, especially say like on the hitting side, how the quality of contact is looking, right? Because it'll factor in my mind. If
Yeah,
a
but that's all
player's-
from what you just did.
right. But it's not the same as run differential though. You
Run
think run
differential is-
differential is an expected stat? I feel like you're just using it to evaluate.
No. Okay, are the Mets a good team? Are the Mets a good team?
Yes,
Minus 19 run differential. They're not very good.
they are.
They're not.
That's bullshit.
Okay.
They're a good team.
Milwaukee good?
That's why I
Yes.
say it's baloney.
Minus
Thank you.
6. Minus 6.
Thank you.
They're going to win the division?
Milwaukee lost the game 10-1 the other day. And you know what they did? They said, cool. And now we're going to go win the next
Okay.
day.
That's why I think it's a little.
I think it's
wacky.
worse now,
Yeah.
Todd Father, because position players pitching, when you get those guys in the lopsided games, right? What has it got to be like 8 runs?
Yeah.
Then it gets worse. And it means nothing.
Although I did
I'm not saying that run differential means nothing. I'm just saying that like I don't pay a ton of attention to
No,
it because
exactly.
there are outliers over a season, and it's not helping you project the next season. It's-
It helps
a
you
fresh
project,
season.
It helps you tell you what's going on that season, though.
The Mets are fine. The Brewers are good.
Okay.
Like those are
Okay.
that's negative
If you-
run
if you-
differential.
okay.
Do you think those teams are sub 500 ball clubs?
The Mets are over 500. The Brewers are over 500.
Right.
For now.
And I think that they'll be even better.
Okay. Who's going to win if you had to put money on it right now? And I'm talking Brewers are 26-22. Cardinals are 22 and 28. Who wins the division? Right now. Cardinals are 5 games behind them.
It's close for me. What does this have to do with run
I'm
differential?
going to explain it.
I will go.
We have a show, so maybe you have to make a decision sometime today.
Brewers. I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot to
Okay.
update.
What about
I mean,
you
I
guys?
had Cardinals to start the year, and
Okay.
I think those two are close.
Okay, so the Cardinals are plus 20 run differential. The Brewers are minus 6. I say the Cardinals are probably still going to win that division because they're a better team in the
That's
run
not what you were
differential.
saying a
shows it.
couple of weeks ago.
Well, things have changed. They benched Wilson Contreras and they got way better.
Let's bring in our
Then
guest.
they put him back in as a catcher and they got better.
You
I
know,
don't know.
when we get heated, we bring in guests to help settle the score. And that is what Ryan Divish is about to do. Been covering the Mariners for quite some time. Friend of mine, writes for the Seattle Times. We've spoken on TV. This is a better platform for us to really let it go. And he is very allergic to eye wash.
What a shirt.
That is a great shirt. I love that. Ryan, how you doing? And have you been listening to this friendly banter?
A little bit. I heard you guys arguing about the Central, and so I don't know. I don't know if I believe in the Brewers just yet. I probably still pick the Cardinals, but man, watching Wilson Contreras catch sometimes is pretty painful. When he was here, it was right before he got benched when they were in Seattle, and you could just tell him and Jack Flaherty weren't on the same page, and Miles Michaels weren't on the same page. And the one thing about him is he's so emotional after he has a bad at bat, he would take it into his catching, and we saw him get ejected in one of the games as well. So, I mean, like, nobody ever believed that he was the best defensive catcher in the world, but I think when you have problems there, that leaks into a lot of things going forward. I mean, AJ, I'm sure, can speak to that.
Yeah, and Kratz. But okay, so let me take you 5 minutes back before we got to the Central, because this was sparked again by the AL West and fun differential. So you've dealt with this a lot covering Seattle. They seem to be the poster team for a stat like this because it hasn't mattered as much. My case that I was making, Ryan, was just that last year, Seattle getting knocked for their fun differential. I think that it started pretty lopsided and then it kind of evened out for most of the rest of the year. So I was like, no, they're a good team and they win close games and they made it to the playoffs past a round. So I think that the run differential didn't really tell the story that well.
No, you're right. I mean, like last year and even the year before, they were unbelievable in one-run games, and we all know that there's a little luck involved, but they made their own luck. I mean, I remember a game last year. I think they threw 2 or 3 Yankee runners out, 2 at home plate in an extra innings game that they won. That Luis Castillo pitched. It was the craziest game I've ever seen. They were really good at executing defensively in the field. And their bullpen was unbelievable the last couple of years, and that's how they won those games. But I think it just wears on you, and you're seeing that this year. They're 5-14, I think, or 6-14 in one-run games, because it just like you play that many games, the numbers even out. The luck factor, they don't have Andres Munoz. They've been dinged up a little bit in their bullpen, and their situational hitting has been flawed. I mean, AJ saw them over the weekend in Atlanta. That's their problem right now. And you look at the team, you think, well, they should be better offensively than they are. The whole point of their offseason was to try and get a little bit better so they didn't have to rely on the fun differential. Because I think you look at it, I think it's a tough way to live playing that many close games like that.
Hey, my question, you talk about quality starts. 26 quality starts, as I read, tied for most in MLB. I mean, that's going to keep you in games no matter what. So what do you think the attest that is to? Is that to the pitching coach? Is it to them having meetings and viewing the beginning of the year saying, hey, listen, let's build this off. So because they do have a good bullpen, so we can give them a little leeway, give them a little break sometime.
Yeah, I think they have the best overall starting rotation in baseball. I mean, you look at it, Marco Gonzalez is your number 5. He's the guy that made 32 starts last year and had a 4.01 ERA. You'll take that from a number 5 every day of the week. A lot of people would kill to have that number 5. The Mariners are good at pitching. They've learned to kind of draft, develop, fine pitching. They pulled Paul Sewald off the scrap heap. Gabe Spire was a waivers claim. Justin Topa was a trade for cash considerations. All these guys, they understand pitching, and it's really simple. Like they sit there and say, hey, we just find out what you do really well and tell you to do it more. But they've done that the last few years. I mean, even in 2021, Drew Steckenrider was a guy that had he gave him one really good year and then he kind of flamed out, but they did that. So they're really good at pitching. And you look at Bryce Miller, who's starting tonight. He's a guy that was late blooming pitcher, didn't really pitch until he got to college, was a reliever, started 1 year kind of, but their analysts looked at his fastball and said, hey, this thing has got ridiculous spin rate. It carries through the zone. He can throw it wherever he wants. Let's take him in the 4th round and see if we can build him into something. And look what they've got. So, when they took Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, they weren't sexy picks, and they weren't these were guys that had some questions coming out of college, even a little bit. Like Kirby threw a ton of strikes, but people didn't know if he had the velocity or if he had the secondary stuff. And they've helped develop these guys into something more than they've been. Andres Munoz, they get in that trade with the Padres. They're good at finding pitching, and that's huge for them.
Ryan, that's great about pitching, but at some point you got to score some runs.
Oh, yeah.
Like you mentioned, I saw them on Saturday, and they beat the Braves on a bullpen day. Julio Rodriguez walked. He's been kind of non-existent offensively. Ty France hasn't done much this year. J.P. Crawford's been kind of the guy that's righted the ship for him. What the heck's going on with Julio, and what the heck's going on with the Mariner offense?
Yeah, it's been painful to watch. I mean, if they didn't have – it's crazy to say this. If they didn't have Jared Kelenic and J.P. Crawford and Jose Caballero – they'd be screwed. I mean, they really would be. The guys that they expected to produce this year, whether it's Julio Rodriguez, Ty France, Teoscar Hernandez, who they went out and traded for. They just haven't been. Ty's been good for stretches, maybe not what we've seen from him, and he just got hit last night and could be out a little bit. But Julio just seems to be in between. It's funny. I asked him, we were talking in spring training. I said, do you understand that you're going to get a different kind of treatment this year, that you're going to get maybe 3 really good pitches to hit a night? And if you miss them, that might be the only 3 you get a night. He said, no, I got this. But what we saw is when the Mariners offense started to struggle, Julio tried to take it upon himself to pull him out of it. And what he did is he expanded the strike zone. He started swinging at every slider low and away. And all the stuff that made him good last year, the discipline to the strike zone, has been kind of gone. I mean, you saw it. And what happens is when you're so cognizant of that slider away, it never allows you to be on time for the fastball that's 96 in. And we're seeing him get beat on fastballs that normally he would just pulverize. So he's just in that in-between stage. I think we've seen, like the other night, he had some good swings, but it's the discipline of shrinking the strike zone and getting the pitches you can hit and then not missing them. And he just hasn't done that consistently.
We watch a lot of baseball on this show. We love watching it, but Seattle just never gets enough credit for people watching them. Who should be somebody that we should know about, that the average fan, or even, above average fans like we are, who should we know about in Seattle?
Well, I honestly, the pitching is ridiculous. Like George Kirby, I mean, we always joke because he looks like he's straight out of the Wall Street district. He's a kid from Westchester County, but, we're joking. He would be great at doing your taxes because you look at him, he just doesn't look like a pro athlete. But, man, that guy is a killer out there. It's funny. He is so talented. Last year, he was in the bullpen watching Robbie Ray get ready for a start, and Robbie Ray was throwing a two-seamer because he needed it. And Kirby goes, well, how do you hold it? And so Kirby went out there. He threw 6 two-seamers off the mound in his bullpen, and they all had just nasty movement. He took it into the game, threw it 15 times the next outing. Now he throws it at 97 miles an hour at a left-hander's front hip, and it'll dart back into the strike zone. It reminds me a ton of Kendall Graveman's sinker. I mean, who does that? How talented can you be where you can just go out and do something like that? I love watching him pitch, and he's kind of got a little nasty edge. He's got the strut. He ran one in on Acuna the other day and just stared at him like, I don't care if you, because let's be honest, Acuna is a bit of a drama queen. Anything that comes inside, he hits the deck and is laying around. It reminds me a lot of Segura, but Kirby just stared at him. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to throw it in there again because that's my half of the plate. And that's what I love about the Mariners pitching. Gilbert, Kirby, even Luis Castillo, that they throw inside. They establish the inside half of the plate. And I think in this day and age of hitters that can really elevate and celebrate, you got to do that. So I really, George Kirby is going to be their all-star if he stays on this pace. He is that good. And I mean, I didn't know a lot about him, when he first came up, but man, it's ridiculous.
So you're saying that Acuna is a lot of eyewash? Is that what you're saying?
That catch he made when we were there, he made a catch on Cal Raleigh's ball. Yeah. That was ridiculous. He is all 3 games, him and Matt Olson hit the first 2 at bats every game and got runs. I mean, that team is stacked. And for the Mariners to actually play with them the way they did, considering they're not hitting, I thought was pretty exceptional. It speaks to how good their starting pitching is.
So Ryan, you mentioned the pitching who's kind of no one knows about. When I was there and I talked to Scott Service, he said J.P. Crawford. We asked him that exact question, and the guy he brought up repeatedly was J.P. Crawford. Explain how good J.P. Crawford has been for this team, not only defensively, but since he went to the leadoff spot.
Yeah, he's been he's probably one of their most competitive players. And I think the thing with JP is, over the years they've lost Kyle Seager, he retired, Mitch Haniger's gone. He's become that kind of emotional leader, the guy that kind of gets him to go. And he's just been better than he's ever been. Part of it is he's healthy. He made the mistake, and many players do this, of diving headfirst into first base last year on a play that he didn't need to, messed up his back, and it never really got better, and he had to play through it. This year he's healthy. He went to Driveline in Kent, Washington, did some work on his swing, stayed in the ground a little bit more, used his legs a little bit more, and we're seeing his exit velocity's up 3 or 4 miles per hour on every ball. I mean, he hit a ball 110 miles an hour the other night. I don't think that was possible for him. But yeah, without him and the way he's doing things, it'd be huge. They'd be a huge disappointment. And it's crazy. he was this top prospect that kind of washed out in Philly. And we were talking to him. He was going to quit baseball. I mean, he just hated baseball from playing there. The Mariners traded for him. They went and got him in D. Gordon and Kyle Seager. Just kind of said, look, you've got to learn to love the game again before you're ever going to be any good at it. And it's been important for him. They've been trying, like Mariners fans have been all upset about how they haven't gone out, got Carlos Correa, Trey Turner, all these guys. And I don't think any of those guys really wanted to go there in the first place. But J.P. Crawford's helped kind of like quiet that a little bit. He's been so good. And really, he wants to be here, and that's tough to say for people in Seattle, like to come to Seattle. Seattle doesn't get free agent hitters. They just don't. It's 20% over market value. I mean, that park is a tough place to hit in, the location, everything else. They don't get free agents. So you better find guys that want to be here and learn to produce.
Is Jerry Dipoto really good at trades, or does he just make all the trades and he's like, see, look what I did?
I mean, like, I'm surprised he hasn't traded for any of you guys at some point in his career. I mean, there's been like 140 of them. So I think that's part of it. They have to trade because they struggle to get free agents in. I think he's been limited by ownership in terms of what they're willing to pay, which is absurd to me. I mean, like, the people come here. They own their own television station. They should have spent more this offseason. I'm granted there wasn't great fits, but like, do more. After what happened last year and all the excitement around it, they should have done more. They were a bat short coming out of spring training. They're still at least a bat short now. And, that's going to be their downfall. Like, they talked about winning the division this year, but I don't think that's happening. They'd have to go on another run. And I don't know if I see that because the offense has been so hit and miss. So, yeah, Dipoto's had to trade because they just haven't been able to get free agents to come here.
Okay. No free agents. There's a huge free agent on the market. And Seattle has a long history with Japanese stars. Ohtani in Seattle? Makes sense.
Oh, I would just hand him a check and say, what do you want? Here's a list. Write down everything you want. What do you want? Because he's like seriously, if you think about it, he's the only free agent that pays for himself in terms of drawing people in, interest, everything else. And because of Seattle's history, Seattle finished second the first time around on Ohtani. And a lot of people thought he's out of respect to Ichiro and didn't want to follow Ichiro and all this other stuff and didn't want to overshadow it. They have a better relationship now. I know Ohtani likes Seattle. He's comfortable here. Most people believe he's going to stay on the West Coast. And I think the Mariners are pretty much willing to operate on his schedule. He pitches every 6 days or I think it's every fifth day or 6 days. It's a different look. They'll do whatever it takes. And they're also into all the stuff that he likes, the biomechanics, all the therapies and stuff. They'll do whatever it takes. But it's the presentation, and you got to be willing to write a check. This is my thing about the Mariners. They can sit there and say they want to win. The Mariners ownership can always sit there and say they want to win. But it takes balls to try and win. It takes risk. You got to have some courage, and you got to be able to screw up every once in a while and say, yeah, we screwed this up, but we were going for it. And, we're just going as hard as I can. So we tripped and fell. We're not, money isn't the issue. That's been their problem. Like, they don't have the courage, at least the ownership doesn't have the courage of what it takes to win because they haven't gone all in, I mean, right or wrong, AJ Preller does that all the time. He throws it out there and says, okay, this is what we're going to do, and I think take some risk, believe in your scouting, believe in your, your evaluations and go out and get some guys. With Ohtani, the one thing too is I don't think he really, from what I've been told, he doesn't want to be locked into 10 years. He wants opt-outs. He looks at what happened to Mike Trout. He's like, I'm not getting stuck into something like this. So he wants opt-outs after 2 and 3 years or 3 and 4 years because, he wants freedom. Mariners I'd give it to him. Hell, give him 65, 70 million for 8 years. I mean, what's the worst? If he opts out after 3, that means he's done something, or you've been either really bad or he's done something to get more. And that means you've probably been really good. And if that means you get to a World Series, then do it. You look at what their problems are. They could use one more starter if Marco's done. They need a DH with some power. I mean, he fits perfectly. So yeah, make a run at him. Because they haven't been able to get the bat they wanted. They didn't get Matt Chapman a couple of years ago. They didn't get Brian Reynolds this offseason, although they tried everything they could. They tried to get these power bats or these bats to help their offense, and they just haven't been able to do it.
What about the Cano contract? That was a big.
Yeah, that was a different ownership group, but yeah, that's how they did it. They gave him $240 million versus I think the Yankees were only going to give him 175. And when they got Nelson Cruz, everybody was going to give 3 years, and they gave him 4. Now that contract paid itself off like double. But like, that's the thing. You have to be willing to push past what the market is. You can't just sit there and say, well, the market's too extreme for us. We don't want to do that. Well, the market is what the market is. And if you need help, or if you want to win and you know that you're short, because you're giving up prospect capital. The Mariners are really good at developing prospects and turning them into something, but you give up prospect capital after a while, you can't replenish it easily. And then you get into big droughts. So I think, don't be afraid to spend. I mean, like, you look at Ohtani, he fits next year. Matt Chapman fits next year. Those are guys they need to look at. Will they do it? I don't know. But, they're making a lot of money on this product. And I think it's kind of irresponsible not to kind of push it to the next level, because this is a team that's never been in the World Series. It's the only franchise that's never been in the World Series. Do you want to carry that? They just carried around 21 years of not making the playoffs. You want to still carry around the moniker you've never been at the World Series?
And they're going to get to show off the city too at the All-Star game, and we know who's going to be there. So do you think, going back to your earlier point, they didn't do as much as you expected because they said, hey, next off season, we're loading up. Look, the Dodgers are loading up too. They didn't go nuts this past off season. We're not going to be beat on price. If he doesn't come here, it's because he didn't want to come here, not because we couldn't offer him enough cash.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think that's in the back of their mind, but like, they're not like flirting with the luxury tax the way the Dodgers and all these other teams are. I mean, they have plenty of space to go do it, and they have the money to do it. I don't want. There's no Seattle owner should ever say we don't have the money to do it. Again, it's a risk. It's a financial risk, but you go do it. So yeah, they need to. They have the money to go do it. I just think you want to make this place as attractive as possible for him to come too. You want it to have a pretty good team in place. I don't think he needs to go to the best team, but he is not going to go. He's not going to take the worst team and just go play out of comfort. He wants to go where he's going to compete for the postseason.
All right, let's finish with this. Just size up the AL West, because you see this division. Not as much as you will in the past because of the more balanced schedule, but what do you think of the rest of the division, especially, Oakland, it's another story. Yeah. But, what the Angels are doing, what the Astros are doing, some injuries, but still being the Astros. What have you seen?
Yeah, very happy not to have to see Oakland as much this year, or go to Oakland as much this year.
What do you mean you want to play Oakland this year?
Oakland.
You want to play Oakland this year? Who cares where you play them?
Yeah, well, but I got to sit through and watch it. I don't care. I don't. I just cheer. Yeah. I cheer for outs, as Tom Allison, the old scout for the Mariners, says. We cheer for outs. We want to get through this. So, no, I think Houston is still the best until somebody proves otherwise. Like, everybody thought they were down. All of a sudden, they ripped 10 of 12 off. They're still really good. I wonder how long Texas will sustain this offense and how their pitching holds up. It used to be last year, you get to their bullpen, you could beat them. And you just really never know with the Angels. Like, for a while there, the Angels were really good last year and they fell apart. They still don't. I think they lack depth in their pitching. And I don't know where the Mariners are at. Like, they're starting to get healthy, but, offense is going to be a problem until Julio gets going and Teoscar Hernandez gives them something. Offense is going to be a problem for them because, they just don't score runs. They don't. One game you'll see it, and then the next game, and then it disappears for 2 games, and that's a hard way to live. But I until the Astros are beaten, I'll always pick the Astros.
Can we get the one shot of Scott and Ryan? Can you switch me for Ryan, please? Ryan, Scott wants to know whose bicep.
No, I don't.
Vein
Why
is
do you
bigger.
Make that a thing.
Look at that! Look at those bicep veins.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
I'm wearing the Tom Murphy Schmedium T-shirt, apparently.
Dude, by the way, I'd never seen him. He's jacked.
Tom Murphy?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, who is this jack? He looks like Gabe Kapler.
Oh, yeah. That dude, like, he had this whole that guy listens to more like Pantera and Slipknot than any human being. He has this like plan for metal yoga. He was telling me he wanted heavy metal yoga. I don't know. Like, you guys got to hear this though. So when my very first job covering baseball, the guy says, "Hey, why don't you go in and cover this White Sox series?" And I didn't understand why. Well, apparently the guy had written, this is right after the Michael Barrett, AJ Pierzynski thing. The guy had written, well, who hasn't wanted to punch AJ Pierzynski in their life? And AJ is in the clubhouse checking IDs to see if, are you this guy? This guy's name's Darren Bean. Are you Darren Bean? Are you Darren Bean? Because he was going to have.
Yeah, he was the guy from the Mariners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and so,
because he got mad because he asked me about a bike. We won a bike one night out in Swannies. Remember the old Swannies in Seattle? So Chris Widger, who played there, we won a bike. It was like a pedal bike, and Widger wanted the bike. So we were riding around in the clubhouse. He came up and goes, "What's the story of the bike?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. It doesn't concern anybody."
Yeah.
And then he wrote this article about, so continue. Yeah, that guy. I don't know who that
So
guy
then,
is,
so then I didn't understand why he didn't want to cover that series anymore. And he wanted me to go down in the White Sox clubhouse. And all of a sudden, AJ's like checking credentials. And I'm like, what the hell have I got myself into here? Oh, my God.
You and the media, man. See, that's fun, though, for me. When you're going out of your way and checking credentials to go talk to the guy, it's not like AJ's going to, like, beat your ass up. Like, you're going to –
I might verbally assault you.
You're going to give him shit.
Yeah.
That's
fun.
I mean, like, I was just like those first 3 years covering the Mariners, because like then I went full time 2008. They lost 101 games, and it was the biggest collection of assholes I've ever been a part of. And I sat there like, I'm sitting there like, they're terrible. John McLaren, the manager, he hated me. He got fired a week later. I'm thinking to myself like, I can't do this anymore. This is like the job I always wanted. And right now I'm ready to throw Eric Bedard through a wall. And like, Richie Sexton just stared at me with hate, and Jeremy Reed hated me. I was like, oh my God, this is not good. And it was like the worst team I've ever covered. And I've covered 4 100 loss teams. And that was the worst one because they were the first $100 million payroll to lose 100 games. But Vasey got fired. McLaren got fired. And that was the start of, I think, the 8 or 9 managers I've covered since then too.
Why were they mean to you? Were they just like pissed off about losing, or were they reading your articles?
Well, a bit of both. I don't know. Those guys didn't read unless it was a hunting magazine. Those guys weren't reading. Come on now. I mean, like I said to Sam Haggerty the other day, he was reading a book. And I go, man, you can't be reading books in a clubhouse. You're going to get a bad rap. Like it's hunting magazines, stuff like that, or look on your phone. So no, it was just brutal. They were bitter. It was a lot of older veterans, and like you guys know too, there's nothing worse than a September when you're on like a 100 loss team. The August and September when you're way out of it, that's the most miserable place to be in a clubhouse.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
That's good shit. Well, hey, better teams, even though they've got their ups and downs right now. Enjoy the ride right now, and especially I would stay on the roller coaster because it might involve Ohtani for next year. So we'll be talking again. Ryan, great to have you on, man. Good catching up.
See you guys.
Later. Ryan Divish, and obviously great follow too, and you can read all of his articles. He's great.
You know what? Gosh, there's a lot of those stories about me out there. I gotta go back.
Every writer has a story about you.
Way too many.
Yep.
I remember that one.
Bias.
I did. Yeah, it's right. I know it's Brzezinski bias. I remember that now because we went. Swannies was like a comedy club.
Mm-hmm.
It was right by the stadium. It was like this little where all the players went. And so Chris Widger, who played there, was like, "I'm gonna take you to this place. It's a comedy club." And we went in there, and they had some funny guy, but they had a raffle, and somehow Widger won this bike, and he was all excited. And so we were literally driving around the clubhouse, goofing around, and the guy's like, "Hey, what's the deal with this bike?" And I'm like, "Dude, like it's nothing. Like literally, don't worry about it." Like. And then he wrote that article, and then I remember. I don't remember checking IDs, but I remember wondering who the heck the guy was.
That's human element. People like that. Those stories.
No, AJ didn't say that. He probably said kick rocks, dude. Nobody.
No. I was like, dude, don't worry about it. I'm like, it doesn't involve you. So, if you want to know, ask Widger. It's his bike.
Shit.
Divish, though, one of my favorite instantly.
Yeah, he was
top
great.
in power rankings of one of our better writers we've had on for sure. At Ryan Divish on Twitter, super easy there, and a beat writer for the Seattle Times.
Plus, you forget how bad. What he said too is you forget how bad the Mariners were for a long time.
Yeah,
but you forget.
It's not that long ago.
No, but they were in 2001. I played against that team, won 116 games. They were the best team I ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't win anything. I mean, you couldn't beat them. It was like, gosh, this team's unbelievable. They win every single game, and then like 3 years later. I was like, oh, we're playing the Mariners? Yes. It's at least 2 out of 3 on this one.
It was Ichiro and...
Oh, and 2001 team?
No, years later.
It was Ichiro and Ryan Franklin?
Ichiro and...
It's funny that he says that because the veterans, one of my buddies, Jeff Clement, remember that name? He was a top pick. He came up during that time, and that clubhouse ruined his career. I'm saying that's my words. Based on the stories he told me, those dudes absolutely he's like, I didn't want to go to the ballpark. And he's not a soft dude. He's just a super nice guy. He could bang and he banged in the minor leagues, came up, catcher, and they ruined his career in the sense of like just how they treated him. He said he would sit there, him and Filippo Mont would say the same thing about the dudes in that clubhouse. Filippo Mont was like, he was so glad to be out of there. They would sit there in their locker and guys would just yell in their ear, just berating them about something little that they did. Like they couldn't ever do anything right. That's miserable.
brutal.
That was terrible.
It's
Yeah.
miserable.
It's terrible.
It's bullying.
They need to listen to Pat Murphy's talk yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, the exact opposite.
Yeah, way too late though. But that's brutal. Oh, Ryan was on the money then. I'm glad he brought it up.
Yeah,
He
you know my
doesn't hold
favorite.
back.
So my favorite, I think it was 2005-ish, 2005, 2006. I had a minor league roommate named Jeff Harris who was a pitcher, and he was with the Twins, and I left the Twins, and I thought he was out of baseball. We're playing the Mariners in Chicago, and he walks out for BP, and he comes up to me, he's like, AJ, and I'm like, Harry, and he had full uniform. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, what do you mean? I go, are you bad boying? Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm starting tomorrow. I'm like, for the Mariners?
Oh.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, where have you been? He's like, independent ball and da-da-da-da. It's like, work my way back up. But that was just like, they were just cycling through dudes as fast as possible. But my roommate made it to the big leagues. No idea no idea. He comes up.
Didn't even know it.
Didn't even have any idea.
Oh, you don't read enough.
Bad roommate.
I mean,
Bad roommate.
this is like,
That's why he gets the
or
bad
cell
vibe. He asked him if he was a bat boy. I mean, the
I was like, Harry, what are you
He
doing?
doesn't forget that
I
shit.
mean,
Oh,
so
dude,
I,
you had a good
so
laugh
I
out of
see
it.
Brzezinski, the all-star, and he goes, wait, you're playing?
Yeah, you're pitching, starting.
That's good. All right, so on that note,
Hey, you never had a roommate, so you don't understand the relationship you build over time.
I've had roommates. Don't take every experience away from me. Yes, I've not played in the bigs, and I'll never act like that, and I will absolutely disappear on this show at the right times, but I do have roommate experience for quite a bit of time. Anyway, we have to get to this because I'm fired up right now, and we're excited to announce a new partnership with Baseballer. You can follow them on IG. You can check out merch. I'll give you more on that in a moment. It is called the Baseballer Viral Hit of the Week, sponsored by our friends at Baseballer. And let's begin. This one had the most buzz this week. I mean, you can see it keeps rising. It's close to 50,000 likes, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views on videos like this. Absolute madness during an 11 and under baseball game. Ump v. coach. You guys are all like watching in disappointment.
It's brutal.
Yeah, but you guys, this is
So
perfect
bad,
for
though.
you guys are all coaches. So no, I do not have coaching experience in baseball. I'm gonna stop. You guys can start. Go ahead. Whoever wants to go.
Listen, I do. I'm travel ball out now. Like this is my son's 9. Listen. When I have an argument with an umpire, it's not to belittle somebody, not to get in his face. I just want to know where they're at, and I would never, ever take it that extreme. I mean, listen, we didn't see the video before. We didn't see the whole thing, right? So I'm not condoning the coach. I'm not condoning the umpire. I'm just saying there's probably stuff before that led up to it. Guy couldn't take it. You know, cooler heads got to prevail here. This is 11-year-old baseball at the end of the day. I don't see one call making you feel the need to get in the guy's face, either chest bump him or be this close to people when you're arguing a call in Little League. You just got to move on, man. It's not a good look and not a good look at all. And I'll let you guys talk about it, and then I'll have another remark afterwards about what they could do to possibly figure this out. But it's just not a good look on both sides. I mean, listen, the coach should know better. Umpire should know better as well, but there's only so much thing an umpire can take as well. So the fighting aspect, that's just terrible.
I mean, everybody's got their limit. So where's your limit, Todd? What do they say to you that you're like, I'm gonna get up in this guy's face now?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to be in that situation. I mean, I've never been in a situation where I felt the need to get into a coach's face. I have my fair arguments with coaches. I have my fair arguments with umpires. But never to the point where I feel like I got to physically harm somebody over words,
You ever get the feeling that the other team, especially at the younger ages, and I'm not talking about Kratz, you and I at the high school age, but I remember when I was helping with my son at a younger age, the other coach thought he was playing against you, not 10-year-old, 11-year-old kids. He was playing against you, and they knew, oh, that's Erik Kratz. That's Todd Frazier. I played in high school, and I would have made it if I didn't get hurt. But I'm going to beat Todd Frazier. I'm going to outcoach him. That was always the feeling I got when I would help out at the younger level, was they were playing against me, not kid against kid. It was the other coach was trying to beat me, and that's where I think sometimes it goes wrong. I mean, I've had coach when I was helping with the younger ages, coaches would come up and be like, say things, and you're just like, cool, dude. Like, it's 12U baseball. Nobody's ever going to remember this, ever. I mean, I had a guy one time challenge me to a fight. Come meet me where he worked. He worked as a high school teacher. He's like, I work at this high school. Come meet me. We'll settle this. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with?
And what caused that?
His kid was hitting and he was peeking at the sign. Like, not like Aaron Judge looking at. He literally would go like this and he would go at the catcher.
Well, quick pitch him.
You know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's kids.
So our team was like, hey, quit looking at the signs, quit peeking. So after the game, it was the kid's dad. It wasn't even a coach, comes across the field. It's like, hey, why are you yelling at my kid? I'm like, well, listen, dude, he doesn't need to look at the signs, but I'm just letting him, trying to help him. He's like, well, don't worry about what my son does. I go, well, it affects the game. I said, you can do two things. I said, you can tell him to stop. You can ask him to stop. Or next time we play you, we're going to hit the kid. And he goes, well, that's not fair. And I said, well, guess what? If he does that later on in life, every time he does it, guess what's going to happen? He's going to get hit.
Yeah.
So let's stop it now before it turns into a situation that could be stopped now. And he, well, you want to settle this? And I'm like, what? No. Like, you want to fight over a 12U 7th place game?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So,
But you have a different perspective of it. It's like Gavin said yesterday. Gavin Sheets was on, and I asked him about his dad and what that relationship, like, some perspective. Like, what could that umpire have said to that coach, or what could that coach have said to that umpire? Whoever was the first one that laid hands on somebody, like they're in each other's face. Nobody has hands, and all of a sudden they got hands wrapped up. My favorite part of this video is the one kid starts running out there like, do we help him? No, I don't help him. And then the white team, the white jerseys, they just start running off the field. They're running to left field. See, the kids are all running to left field. They're like, we are not getting anywhere close. This is awkward. I know, Todd, you have some moments from your Little League, because you made it all. I mean, you guys were legitimately looking to win something in Little League. Everybody else, just play your season out, man. Like, get to know which base to run to, all that stuff. You were playing something out. So I know you saw some awkward moments where you're sitting on the field like, we haven't thrown a pitch in 30 seconds because Aunt Joey and Uncle Gina are yelling at each other.
Listen, I'm going to tell you an example of this on my side. It's a great. So whenever we went to play Georgia Tech, for some reason, I'm not even Little League. I'm bringing this up. My uncle Tom used to always come. So for some reason, every time we went down there, we felt like the umpires were giving them the calls, which was probably true. We're playing Matt Wieters and all this, so we're doing well. Next thing you know, a play happens. Our guy runs into somebody. They give them the call. We're flipping out. And then I get hit first time in the elbows because I'm yelling back and forth. I get hit a second time. I actually got hit 3 times in a row in the elbow. And I'm just about to go out, and I see my uncle on the field. My Uncle Tom ready to go on the field, and he is going absolute bonk. This is at a college game. And I'm like, you know what, man, that's family. I love every second of it. But hindsight 2020, shouldn't have came on the field. He walked over to the other side and told the whole stands, like, whoever wants to meet me outside after the game can come meet him outside. And my Uncle Tom, is the best person in the world, and he's a strong son of a bee. He looks like, he could be a construction worker. But, when it comes to family, I don't know. It's weird how you react. And I start chirping. I'm telling Wieters, like, let's go. Like, it's just something that happens in the middle of a game. But it's usually the parents that are the bigger problem with the coaches. But now it seems like umpires. So my next thing about this whole thing is in New Jersey, I forget what Little League, But if you argue with an umpire, you have to be to come back and watch your son play another game. You have to umpire 3 games. That's your, besides getting ejected out of the game. If you don't umpire 3 games, you're not allowed to come back to that little league anymore. So it makes them, have to be accountable for what they do. And I think that's a really good thing. If you're going to argue you get thrown out of a game, only way you're allowed back to that stadium and that little league is to umpire 3 games and see how it feels to be an umpire.
Who wins in a Royal Rumble? Uncle Tommy, Amir Garrett, or Michael Lorenzen?
No, my uncle, you ain't stopping him, man. He's a big dude. No.
Uncle Tommy.
His last, Solito. Tommy Solito, baby.
That's
Tommy
good.
Solito.
This was fun. And you can see the comments popping up below there, too. Parents should get a lifetime ban from youth sporting events. The real children are the coaches sometimes. Saw that one earlier. The real crime is the cameraman. Yeah, there's some focus issues. There's some focus issues there. So this was fun. Good start here. Hit up at the Baseballer on IG for more of these clips. We'll do this every week. Viral hit of the week. I like it. Instant hit for me. And Baseballer, BSBLR.com. Check out their dope merch. And we did a giveaway. So we're actually giving it away. This isn't the announcement. This is your winner of the Foul Territory Baseballer giveaway, Kevin Pittman Jr. Congratulations, Kevin.
Hey, just so you know, Scott, that's my burner account. So thank you very much.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Hey, Kev, you get a signed Shohei Ohtani photo. That's going to mean a lot, especially when he's on, the Mariners or the Dodgers next year. So keep that thing. Yeah, and we appreciate you. Good for you for participating. And that was fun.
Shocker, it was hit off the White Sox. I want Grandal's signature on that, John, too.
I can get it if he wants.
Yeah,
next time in Chicago, I'll get it for him.
Kevin Pittman Jr. Send it to AJ. You can get that autograph. Or actually, it's your burner account. So Todd, just give it to AJ.
You bet.
After he gives you that bottle of scotch.
We got you, Kev. We got you. All right, let's bring in our next guest on FT Live, our friend Lucy Burdge, joining us again to go over some picks for the week. Lucy, good afternoon. How have you been?
Good afternoon. I've been great, but FYI, Kevin Pittman Jr. is actually my burner account, and I was the one. So congrats to me for winning that, because when he is on the Red Sox next year, that's why I wanted that one.
Ooh,
but
okay.
I did enter. I entered the giveaway for the Todd Frazier signed ball. So I retweeted that to enter. So maybe I will.
What about the one I gave away? You didn't want mine?
I didn't want that one. No thanks.
Okay, perfect. You know what? Then go Heat, damn it. I was gonna ask you if you're wearing black for the Celtics funeral, but you know what?
Funeral.
Let's go Heat now.
Yeah, go Heat. That's a reverse jinx. Go Heat. That's what I'm looking for.
Lucy's putting
Heat
money
plus
down on the Heat.
That's put money on the Heat for sure. Yeah.
Lucy, before we get into some picks, I did want to ask you, because I know you're hitting Red Sox games. What's your pulse, realistic pulse on the team this year? Because they're playing better than most people thought right now, right?
Yep, they are surprising a lot of people, as I thought before the season even started. The vibes are high, and I know, of course, AJ, Mercury is out of retrograde, but we can all relax, and that's not a factor anymore. And I still, even though that's not a factor, I do think the World Series is not out of the question. Although I have stopped tweeting that because I got so sick of that tweet of that they're gonna if I saw someone tweeting that every day, I'd be like, stop it, just stop doing that. So I stopped doing that because, again, reverse jinx has been working. So maybe go Yankees or something.
Red Sox
like that.
World Series. That's
She's
bold.
been saying it the whole
could
time.
happen.
That's bold.
Could happen. It could happen. They haven't
Mercury's
played
out of
much.
retrograde.
It could happen, but I don't want people. I don't want people spending their money.
Yeah.
On a futures bet like that. So
I mean, if you put what I did, you put $1 on it. Maybe that's how much faith I have in it. Just as a little.
That's low faith.
That's a lot of faith.
Yeah,
that's
it's a preseason
Lucy,
sprinkle.
You're doing well. That's low faith.
That's what we call a preseason sprinkle. A little bit. I call it that. But just before the season, if you just a little starter, and then you get to August, and if they're really making a run, then the value will still be in their odds. But then you get to October, when they're deep into their playoff run, then the value might not be there. So if you get ahead of the game, then you get more value on it.
Hey, I've been riding
They're
with
plus
Lucy.
6,000.
Yeah, $1
on BetMGM.
That was a little bit longer than they were
$1
before.
doesn't win you 6,000. 100
But
wins you
here's
6,000.
I've been riding with Lucy on the Brian Bayo. Remember, I was trying to do Senga, and then I was like, oh, Brian Bayo, let's try that. And thank God he got that strikeout after Scott tried to jinx him last night. Scott,
well, let's do that. Let's get into it then. Let's get into it, all right? Let's fire it up right now.
Pick every time, and now I'm riding with it.
Let's go. Roll up our sleeves.
Yeah.
It is time for the BetMGM locks of the day. First, we'll backtrack. Let's look at Tuesday because AJ and me were successful. Kip lost, going Mets money line. Cubs beat him. What happened to your boy Gray, Kratzy?
I mean, he had 6 going into his last inning, and he had probably 15 pitches to do it, and he ended up giving up 2 hits. And then he got one more hitter. I thought they were going to take him out after he got 2 guys on. I think it was a walk and a double, second and third. He had 3-2 count, and he walked. I forget who he walked. Haniger, maybe? I was like, God, he had so many 2-strike counts. Never put it away. Never got my 7th strikeout, but I'm okay with that.
Brutal. And I got Padres run line worked out 7-4. I said Soto's probably going to burn him. He did. He homered. Padres, they can hit. It's a good series for them. Go ahead.
I am so honored. I am honored, AJ, that you took this as your lock of the day.
Yeah. Well, so here's what happened. I was going to take Senga, and he got scratched the last second. So I realized I had to go with one, and I remembered Bayo was pitching, and so I went with him. So he had 5.5. He had 5 strikeouts in 4 innings. Jinxer over here, Scotty Braun, texts me and says, hey, Senga, 5 strikeouts in 4 innings, dude. You got this.
No,
Bayo, sorry. And then he goes 2 innings and then get a punch out. I'm like, he's not going to come out for the 7th. He's only at 83. He's like at 88 pitches. Alex Cora runs him out there. He gets the strikeout. Oh, he's out. I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
I was sweating that too, and that's why, because you're jinxing them. You are jinxing them. Don't do that again. That's really scary. That scared me
I'm
as well.
I'm obviously going to do that to AJ, and I don't believe in jinxes.
I do it to you.
Oh, jinxes are real.
I was excited for AJ. I was playing along, and here's where we're at. So AJ ups himself to 13 and 16. Todd Father's close, right at the 500 mark. Kratzy has work to do. I got a 24 and 15 marker going right now, up 607. All right, so let's do our BetMGM locks of the day for Wednesday, and you go last, AJ. Well, technically, Lucy's going to finish up, but Eric, you go first. There's a reason why you're going last.
I'm taking the over in the Yanks-Orioles game. It's set at 8. It's at minus 110 or minus 115. I love that over. I feel like there's always a lot of runs, and you got Tyler Wells, who's pitched well, and Nestor, who had a better outing his last outing, but his location hasn't been quite there. Not by me. I'm not saying it. Jose Trevino said it, so we had it on here on the show. So I'm taking the over in that game. I love it.
I have a bet in that game as well against Nasty Nestor there.
What do you have?
I have Adley Rutschman over 1.5 total bases.
Okay.
Against Nestor Cortez. He's had success against him.
As a right-handed hitter. Okay.
You're not afraid of his right-handed splits?
No, I'm not. No. Based on his history with Nestor Cortez, I am not. He has hit a double against him before.
Write it
down.
Nice.
Switch hitter. But he's much better left-handed.
Right.
Much better.
I'm gonna stick along those trends. I'm gonna keep riding the Yankees money line at minus 135. I'm gonna stay with that until they end up losing. We talk about trends all the time. I'm gonna ride the wave.
You know what? BetQL did have that as a 5-star play today, Yankees money line. And I almost was like, oh, that would be interesting. And my heart just couldn't do it because I also like Adley to do this. So, but that's a good one.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So AJ, you go.
I thought you were going.
Well, I'm just straight up tailing AJ.
So
I had a 2.5-hour meeting this morning, and I was like, you know what? I'm not putting the research together. I actually was starting to do it. AJ, I walked you through a parlay.
He did. He taught me how to do it.
Parlay whiz now, not just the same game. Now he can parlay multiple games together.
Love that.
He gave me a little bit of his research on what he's picking tonight, and I liked it. And I said, I'll tell you, friends.
So since I was trying to pick Senga yesterday, he's pitching today. So I'm going to stick with that one. Okay. Over 6.5 against the Cubs. Cubs strike out a lot. Senga strikes out a lot of people. Ghost Fork is coming. Okay. But then I parlayed it heavy Japanese today. I went heavy Japanese. Kikuchi over 4.5 strikeouts. Because he pitched against the Rays last time. I think he had eight or 9 punch outs in 6 innings. I know the Rays hit the lefties well, but I just feel like, He's going to go out there and punch out some dudes. I mean, 4.5 isn't that big of a number. I know he's not a huge strikeout
He's a
guy.
boomer bust guy.
But yeah, but last week he only had, I think, three strikeouts. He goes like 3-8, 3-8, 3-8, 3-8.
Yeah.
So he went 3, I'm going 8. And then that's plus 292. Weird number.
That is,
With those
see,
two
this is a
combined.
real thing. This is a real thing for them to go under, over, and then you look at the pattern, and there you go, and it hits.
So
That's a smart way to do it, AJ.
plus 292, and it's a weird number,
I'm
292.
telling the hell out of
292.
that.
That's
Plus
some
292,
value
baby.
there.
Let's
Get
go.
that parlay, and then you
Beautiful.
can each week you can do a parlay with just one more leg because each bet is a leg in a parlay.
Yes. Yes.
Then you
Plus
could each do one
292
more.
is solid play for
Yeah.
a hundo down. No, I like it. Lucy?
Yes,
What are
that
you
is
going
one
with?
to tail. I might tail you on that as well. So my lock of the day, Shane McClanahan over 5.5 strikeouts against the Blue Jays. So he has hit this over on strikeouts in 3 of his last 4 starts, 7 in 2 of those starts, and 9 in the third one. So he is hitting this over by a lot. And he's hit this over in 8 of his 10 starts this year in total. And when he faced the Blue Jays back in April, he hit this over once again with 6 strikeouts. So I like him to do it here. You could easily just have 6 and go over the hook there. So I like him to go over.
Boom. Thoughts?
I like it.
Yeah.
But the problem was I didn't love the number for McClanahan.
5.5.
No, the wasn't it? What was the?
Oh, it
what
was
it?
minus 155. So
See, yeah.
you could parlay this with something else
Yeah,
as well.
see,
You could throw
I
that
looked
into
at
your
that.
parlay.
I looked at that, but the minus 155 means they think he's going to do it. So it's like,
Yes.
And we learned from who was the guy the other day that told us you always look for the pluses.
You do. You look for the pluses.
Cody?
But you
Yeah,
could
Cody
again.
Decker.
If
Yeah.
you Cody Decker's right quite a bit, so that is
Yes,
good
he
advice.
is.
That's
This
really good
week
advice.
especially.
Yeah, him and Scott love the Angels.
Oh yeah, well that's smart.
Yeah.
Shohei
Sorry, we
Ohtani.
just like
It's
to make
smart
teams
against
better.
the Red Sox to bet on the Angels because
True.
it's
Tough
been a rough
series.
go. Imagine these games on the East Coast are so late. I can't imagine having stayed up for all of those to watch them lose just again and again and again and at 1 a.m. That's not
Just go
fair.
to bed. Or watch Shohei Ohtani because
Yeah.
that's fun, especially, his final season in Anaheim. It's
So-
going to be fun.
Yeah,
Well,
he'll
before-
be in Boston next year, so that's really
Yeah.
Well, we just had Ryan
Saying
Divish
that,
on say he's going to be in Seattle.
manifesting
Yeah.
that.
Maybe you take, he can split himself up. Like, he'll do the hitting with Seattle and the pitching with Boston.
He'll commute. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Wait, before we let you go, thoughts on I know we're mainly baseball, but Celtics
Yeah.
Celtics Heat. I mean, they
Yeah.
won a game. Don't let them win one.
Exactly. So they tried to they did. At first, when they were channeling Kevin Millar, I was sick to my stomach over that because comparing themselves to the 04 Red Sox was a tough look after the loss that they put together in Game 3. Because I thought the 04 Red Sox, I was 12 years old and I still remember the passion. That was one of my first seasons being following the Red Sox and just being so into it that I remember the feeling as a fan at that time. And I did not have this feeling as a Celtics fan now where it's like, no, the Celtics don't have it. They're asleep. They're done. There's no air left. But they pulled it together. And I think maybe they could start getting, Jeter and A-Rod were at that game. How poetic would that be if they start the first NBA run of being down in this series like this and they go on a 4-game comeback, just sweep for them for those 4 games when Jeter and A-Rod are
Did they speak? Does
their
anyone know?
presence.
Did they speak to each other?
Well, it's a perfect
I don't
transition for
think
me to
so.
get to our next segment.
Okay.
So we actually have something on that. So
Yes.
we'll let Lucy go on with her day, but there's some good Jeter A-Rod conversation coming up. So
Well, I'm
Lucy,
going to keep listening because
Yes.
I will listen to that because that
You'll-
drama, I live for it. So
you
A-Rod,
will
Jeter
want to hear
drama.
this. I promise you. So thank you. Great to see you as always. We'll see you next time. Good luck on your picks.
Thank you guys to you as well, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Lucy Burdge with us. Follow her on Twitter, IG, and for BetMGM players. Today's Wednesday. It's super simple. It's Bonus Bet Wednesday. Use it on any sport. It's going to be given to you on Wednesdays and Saturdays when you log in to your BetMGM Sportsbook account on the app or on the website. If you log in, you'll automatically receive a bonus bet, and it can only be used on any sport wagers. The bonus bet expires after 72 hours, so don't wait. Redeem your bonus bet. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Wow, that was just an absolutely beautiful transition into what's next. This week's edition of Legends Territory features, for the kids out there who maybe didn't watch him, Doug Mankiewicz, okay? It would take me 20 minutes to spell out the last name.
M-I-N-T. M-I-E-N-T-K-I.
Wait, go ahead.
W-I-C-Z. M-I-N-T-K-I-E-W-I-C-Z.
Yeah, you nailed it. He did not hold back, okay?
Listen, that's the ultimate understatement. Holding back. He just was flame throwing
From the jump.
everybody.
Yeah. He played with A-Rod in high school.
Oh, yeah.
He played with him on the Yanks. He had great Jeter stories, too. So here's a little piece of Legends territory, which is on YouTube right now. Part 1. There's part 2 next week. Part 1 on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, look it up. Let's run it.
A baseball study, if we're doing stuff for Westminster, our high school, yeah, if he's not sleeping at the table, like they honored our coach for his 3 millionth win, and there he is in his Timberwolves shirt, sleeping in a chair, and it's like, come on, man, like, you know, I always said that he's gonna die a lonely man, because you know what, this whole, like, you know, Father of the Year stuff, God bless him for his daughters, because it's gonna come a long way, but it's like you're just trying to get into heaven now. Like that's the part. Like, I'm still friends with my high school team. We still text often, not as often as we should, but we still text, group thread, constantly badgering each other. And it's just, you know, he's just distanced from it. And that's, I don't care how good or how great you become and how far your career goes. You never forget your high school dudes. Like, that's just like your high school and your college teammates are like, they're brothers till the end. And we still talk and we still shoot the shit, but, like, you know, he's just nowhere to be found. Even when we do high school stuff for our coach, it's like he's just, you know, like I said, I have a picture of him sleeping at the table in his Timberwolves shirt. I'm like, are you serious? Like, go Wolves.
And that was just a sneak preview.
That was just a tiny, tiny piece. That's
He
an
goes into
A-Rod
everything.
combo.
He goes into A-Rod, Jeter, Golden Thong, 04 baseball, the one that he got sued over. The Red Sox sued him over the baseball where it was.
You know, Garrett in the chat goes, it's so strange. As a kid, I was a massive Jeter fan, and A-Rod I was neutral on. But after their playing career, I've been completely turned around, and I do actually like A-Rod.
Dude.
And A-Rod's played a good PR game. And for Jeter, I will say, for example, like some of the business stuff, and especially, you know, Marlins run did not go the way that the way that he thought it would go, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come save the day and be this winner like he was on the field. Tough situation. So the on the field and the playing days Jeter stories from Doug Mankiewicz make Jeter sound legendary in different ways, you know, like prankster in big moments.
Stuff you never heard about.
That's actually leadership qualities, though.
Who was that in the chat? Because I don't know.
That was Garrett.
Garrett?
I can respond for you.
Massive Jeter fan. A-Rod, I was neutral over there.
That's what I just read it.
I know, but I just wanted to read it before I commented on it. What you see is what you get with Jeter. Okay? And Todd, you played with him, right? Did you play with him?
No, never played with him. Nope.
You played against him?
Yeah.
Pat, did you ever play against Jeter?
Against him, yep.
He was the coolest dude in the room, every room he walked into. And when he saw you, I still see him. He comes up, gives me a hug, has a real conversation. I can't say that about the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeter, he didn't project that out to the people. He was kind of shut off and this and that.
Yeah.
But if you got to talk to him away from the spotlight, he was a dude.
Mm-hmm.
He was a dude, and he was fun, and just, you know, I always say, Paul Konerko used to say this all the time. If aliens came out, we ever discover aliens, and they come and they land in a baseball field, and they say, show us a baseball player, we'd walk Derek Jeter out there and say, here you go, here he is.
Very true.
So there's a part 1, and then there's a part 2 that includes the wild drama scandal with the 04 baseball.
And him managing in the minor leagues and how he gets
with the Twins.
The Twin Tigers.
I'm telling you, I was like on a roller coaster.
Scott was sitting, before he came on, I go, Scott, listen, this is going to be something you've never seen before. Because Doug and I are lifelong friends.
You asked if I had a seatbelt. I was like, why?
And I'm like, just get ready, Scott, because it's coming. And then we started. You just looked at me and was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's live right now. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, every Wednesday, Legends Territory. Untold Stories, Unfiltered Takes. Whew, you are going to love it. Dylan said, as a Sox fan, I loved seeing Varitek take it to A-Rod. Massive respect for Jeter. Dylan, you'll like this. Okay. Let's do slap hands. Okay. Kratz hats is
My first snapback that I got to wear on this show. Found this one. Souderton, Connie Mack. The Connie Mack team I played for back in, I think Connie Mack was like 14 or 13 to 16, 13 to 15, something like that. This thing is the old school mesh back snaps. The best part, most snap hats, I'm on like the second one or the last one. This one was big enough that I was on the fourth one. So
That's not your like the original one you wore, is it?
yes, it's so crazy. I don't know how I still have it.
when Kratz would move from place to place, because we talked about that, 2 days ago, there would just be a big box of hats.
It was big.
Like, all right, we're ready.
Big.
Let's
box
go.
of hats.
On
It's
to
a
the next
heavy.
spot.
It's actually. I mean, I'm putting them all together. You know, you move somewhere and you're just like, yeah, whatever. You throw them together. So I've been finding these. Like, I'll find them. They'll be in the bag. I'm gonna pull them off. They're like this. They're just like smashed into the. Like, oh yeah, I got like 6 Columbus Clippers. Oh, that was the same year I played for the Yankees. We wore these in the. Like, that's how I'm finding them. And I found this one. Oh, I still got a Little League hat. I got my middle school hat. It's all coming. Don't worry about it. Don't bury the lead.
Can't wait. We got plenty of shows. We're weekdays, 1 to 3 Eastern. I'm getting a call. It's from Uncle Tommy, and he said the muscles calling, Todd Father. We have a problem.
Muscles marinara. Listen, I'm just done. I'm done with my man Jose Abreu. That's the biggest problem I got here going on. 47 games, 181 at bats. He's got 40 hits. He's got 0 home runs for me, boys. You guys are never gonna let this down. I don't know what the over/under is for him to get home runs, but I know if I'm him right now, I'm not sleeping at night, man. With that park in Houston, I thought it was a no-brainer. Jose, come on, baby. We got a problem, brother.
0. We warned him when he said Jose Abreu is going to win the home run crown.
Yeah, we laughed. We didn't warn him. We just kind of
We
laughed.
laughed, but 0
Yeah, we didn't think it would be 0.
over
Zero.
a quarter
Come on,
of the
man.
season. What would you have put the number at? 5?
Yeah, 6, 5.
Yeah.
Especially in Houston with that short porch, you think you just.
That's why they got him. And for the most part, because I see Dusty's quotes post game usually when he gets asked about it, obviously. He's like, yeah, just got to keep playing them, play through it. That's what we do with the vets.
They're
So
winning.
we're gonna
They're
sit 'em.
winning. So
They are winning. So, and that's the good part. I mean, I talked about this on a previous show not long ago. Yuli Gurriel was really struggling last year, and he was like, screw it, play through it.
Well, yeah,
And he hit in the playoffs.
true. Gurriel was one of their best guys in the playoffs last
Yep.
year.
That's what I'm saying. Dusty
I got a
liked him.
problem, though. Speaking of the Astros,
Mm-hmm.
I saw this the other day. We showed baseball, or a kid at my son's school plays baseball. He runs this Instagram called Baseball Tings.
Mm-hmm.
And this was on the other day. So, I mean, I got a problem. Speaking of Houston, can we run the video?
It's that guy.
Give me the
What?
play-by-play.
Can we
for the
get it?
podcast
What
audience.
happened?
Listen, he didn't throw one curveball the whole game until the freaking pitch, man. Dude, people in Houston still give me shit for that, and I just sit there and take it. Nothing I can do. I got buckled, man. I got buckled, and it was. I just wanted to go home after that. That was it. That was done.
You know what? That is the perfect answer, because people bring up stuff and dude, everyone has that, right? You just laugh and be like, dude, it happened. It happens to everybody. I guarantee you, everyone has a swing like that if they could find some of the old video. I have swings like that. I'm sure Kratz has swings. It just got him fooled. They just try to emergency act. Hey, at least you swung.
It was just really bad, really. And I hit well off him too. And it's just like in the playoffs, game 6? It was just God, that gives me nightmares.
Yeah, that's classic AJ. That's total troll.
Oh, dude, come on. Coming from the guy the other day on national TV, they showed the Michael Barrett thing.
True.
I mean, come on.
No,
dude.
I know. That's good stuff. Did you have one more?
We did have one more. The other day in the White Sox game, Cleveland, I don't know if you guys saw this. We showed Zach Gallen hitting the bird, throwing Randy Johnson bird.
Yeah.
But watch this.
Oh,
Never seen this one.
Killed it on a hit.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, damn.
That's
I mean, the
horrible.
bird was just chilling on the ground and of all spots. And it's not like there's birds all over the ground. It's one bird on the infield grass. Got it. And then did you see, what was it? Last night he was doing this or something.
Yeah, Naylor did that. Josh Naylor did this.
So that's going to be their thing now, right?
It's not working. It's not really working for them.
Well,
I was going to say, it's AL Central. We're not really paying attention.
Here we go.
Yeah, but
we need more friends.
We showed saving birds here. We show a lot of clips of like animals and stuff around here. So
you are the animal whisperer.
I mean, what are the odds of Randy Johnson throwing a pitch and hitting a bird, Zach Gallen throwing a pitch, hitting a bird, and then a guy hitting a bird with a batted ball? One bird. It's not like in Chicago where there's 1,000 seagulls in the middle of the outfield about the 8th inning. There was one bird.
Seagulls are quick, man. They're quick.
Hey, you know why seagulls are called seagulls when they fly over the bay?
No.
Because they'd be called bagels.
Oh, Jesus Christ. There we go.
And on that note,
drop the mic.
Yep.
Kratzy's got practice. Don't use that at practice with the high schoolers. Okay? You got it out of the way.
That was actually kind of fun. I'm going to use that one.
That was a fun show. Thank you to Wil Myers for joining us earlier. Ryan Divish was great talking Mariners ball with us, and Lucy Burdge giving us some picks. Good luck on your picks if you're riding that way tonight. And that's it for FT Live. We will see you on Thursday.
Subscribe.